wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. I just wanna change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. It's about you. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. freedom. Always jumping through. I'm so tangled, I'm so worthy. I'm just lost in my reflection. Pay attention.
You never will. Let's go. Yo, what is up, people?
I will overanalyze and fall victim. But when I'm lower, it's time to get to know myself. I'm still tangled, I'm not worried, 'cause I am caught up in
This perfection, pay attention. Never will.
So you always will. If you arrest yourself again, I'll help you
Clean up the mess. Dude, what are we doing Christmas? Wonder if you ever did. Yeah. Hello. I wonder if you ever did. Yeah.
I wonder if you
Ever did like I did. Let's go. Here we go. I just wanna be free. Yeah. Free. Yeah. Yeah, free, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's go. No, 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 no. I want to be free. I want to be free. No, man. Free, yeah, yeah, yeah. Freedom, yeah. Let's go! Dude, let's go. Pretty pink. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Thank you. Membership. All right. Dude, how we doing? How we living? What do we got? Like, what was your Christmas like? Oh, shit. Was it good? Christmas, what time is it for me? It is 11:48. I'm on the West Coast. Oh, dude, mine was pretty chill, man. Got up early. Like, I went to bed relatively early, got up kind of early, fucking, made some breakfast for me and Jenny. Then we went to see Anaconda. Fuck, dude, that movie was so funny. Bro, that movie was so funny. It was good. And then I fucking took a long nap, basically, until like 10:30 p.m. That's pretty much my day. Dude, yeah, Anaconda was good, man. Oh, it was good. Very entertaining, funny as shit. It was okay. Dude, you're talking about Christmas? Your Christmas was okay? Dude, mine's pretty chill. Pretty chill. Dude, what a weird day, man. Dude, like, it's just weird looking at the difference in political figures, right? Obama does a Christmas post, Joe Biden does a Christmas post, and then Donald Trump has a fucking absolute meltdown, right? Dude, of course, absolute fucking meltdown. Over 107 degrees in West Australia. Shit, boss. Oh yeah, Australia, you guys, it's your summer right now, isn't it? Dude, I want to have summer right now. Yeah, dude, Trump is such a fucking loser, bro. He is. This guy, right? Playing Ready or Not. Glad I'm streaming. All right, let's go. Dude, he is such a fucking loser. Dude, the weather right now is bizarre. You know what I'm saying? There's like strips, like right up. Somebody said it's 71 in Colorado. There's like a strip right up the middle of America that goes up through Nebraska and Colorado and Kansas. That is like 70 degrees, which is wild. It is wild, like right up the Texas panhandle. I swear there's like a hole just being ripped in our atmosphere, like basically in the cattle farming fucking, it's like from cattle farming. It's just insanity, and everyone's like, oh, ain't no climate change, right? There ain't no climate change. No, there ain't no global warming. It was cold today. Dude. Yeah, right up Tornado Alley, too. Exactly. Yeah, ain't no climate change. It was cold today. It was 42 degrees. No global warming. Shit. Dude, I do pretty good hick voice. I used to play like hicks in plays all the time. I got pretty good hick voices. Oh shit. Dude, our climate, what do you mean? Our climate is so fucked up. Hey, who wants measles? I'll give you two choices, right? Like, oh, you can have measles or a dead bear. Dude, which one do you want? Right? You want measles or you want the dead bear, right? But you can't have both, right? You have to pick one. Oh, shit, dude. Dude, Brazil. Let's go. Oh, shit, dude. Tot in Brazil. Dude, fucking A, bro. Oh, my God. Yeah, I will say it's been pretty fucking chill in Portland, too, right? Which is like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's been chill. I mean, we haven't had that much rain. We haven't had that much rain for several years. The rain has been pretty chill. The summers have been like insanely hot. So the climate, all I can say is, it was hard for me. It was hard for me to tell if the climate evolved when I was a younger person because I lived in LA so long. Okay. And in LA, you don't really notice the climate changing because it's just pretty much always sunny and warm, right? But I've lived in Portland for 26 years and the seasons have completely fucking changed in 26 years. Like, absolutely. They have absolutely changed to where, a lot of trees like don't lose leaves. Some trees actually keep their leaves like well into the winter. The leaves fall off at different times. Fall starts later. It's shorter. It's much hotter in the summer. There's way less rain in the winter. Every couple years you get a brutal like winter storm. And it's been pretty like, it's very different than what it was in 99. Very different. Like the climate here is almost completely different. I mean, there's still a through line of rain, but man, it's crazy how different it is. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. And because it feels like it's accelerated, you know what I mean? It feels like it's accelerated. So I mean, Portland and Seattle are very different. Like normally what happens is if I were to judge the difference between the two, I'd say it rains harder in Portland normally, but it rains more in Seattle. Okay? Like Seattle has more rain and more gray, but like more days of rain and more gray, but the rain is less heavy. And Portland has like less rain and less gray, but the rain is heavier when it happens. So I think Seattle is like the king of gray rain, and Portland is, Portland gets more rain, like, or heavier rain, but not as often. Like Seattle has that gray. Although I think Seattle in the summertime, Seattle's twilight is like the craziest thing. Dude, the twilight, like the time from like 8 p.m. until the sun goes down in the summertime in Seattle when it's like purple. Dude, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. The twilight in Seattle, I think, might be the prettiest like twilight in the whole country. It's pretty neat. I really have an affinity for Seattle. I do, man. I like it a lot. Oh, shit. Did LA have severe flooding? I mean, it makes sense, right? Yeah, Seattle's amazing. Ever seen the Green Flash? What is a Green Flash? I've not seen the Green Flash. Sounds awesome. But dude, Portland's pretty crazy, man. It's like kind of what Portland's trying to figure out right now, which is the same thing that a lot of cities are trying to figure out. But in particular, Portland is how to sort of revitalize the downtown area because, during the pandemic, like people stopped going downtown in Portland. And what's more is right around the time that people stopped going downtown, the right wingers started their whole like Portland is burning. Portland is, is been besieged by homeless people. So like the suburbs people of Portland are all like MAGA folk. So they especially stopped wanting to come downtown, right? Which is, so now we're trying to figure out how to like sort of revitalize downtown, because Portland's downtown is so amazing. You know what I'm saying? It really is. It's so vibrant, but like, it gets a fucking bad rap, right? After the pandemic, the anti-downtown PR campaign began. And, like I love going downtown. We go to the Fox Theater a lot. I think I'm gonna join a membership to the art museum, right? I like museums. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, no, like Pretty Pink. I get it, dude. It is so MAGA. Like outside of the city, right? Outside of the city, it is MAGA, bro. Oh shit. It is, dude. It's MAGA. MAGA. I mean, it's tough. Like revitalizing the downtown is tough because, Portland's a little different. Like normally, you have the malls and a shopping center, and that's the type of thing that revitalizes. And a lot of people in Portland are kind of like, in the city, nobody wants a mall, right? I mean, everybody stopped going to the Lloyd Center, right? I don't know. I mean, they are building a new music venue, but they're not building it downtown. They're building it on the east side where the Lloyd Center was. Has the weather changed in Seattle? What's it like, J-Red? Tell us about the Seattle weather. Dude, yeah, no, Columbia County and Clackamas County are all rednecks. Dude, they are, bro. They are. It's pretty redneck. Dude. Oh, shit. You go to Eastern Oregon, everybody out there wants to be part of Idaho, dude. I say let them. Fuck it. Dude, all right. So we got some fucking politicking to do tonight. All right. Tonight's gonna be pretty chill. Holiday wrap up. Yeah, no, I know Scott Pressler's been on the West Coast trying to get voter ID and all that shit. Dude, that guy worked his ass off in New Jersey and Virginia and shit, and they got nothing, right? They got nothing, bro. Like, you see, dude, these guys, these MAGA shitters, like, they think they're so dominant. But let me just tell you this. I literally get online every day, and every day I see MAGA people like tweeting like 30 times a day of like, Jesus is back, America, wokeness is dead. And then like a day later, they're like, the woke people are oppressing us. And then there's 20 posts, woke is dead, everybody loves Jesus, America's rebirth, MAGA is the most powerful movement. And then they're like, some woke legislation touched my pee-pee. Dude, it is like they spend, and let me just tell you this, okay? You ready? I'm gonna cue you in. Because I was a rock and roller. Okay, I had a band. It was all about like promoting your band. You're trying to get signed. You're building the following. Let me just tell you that the people that walk around all day telling you how fucking happy they are and how big their movement is and how, oh my God, like look at it, everyone's converting to our things. They're full of shit. Okay, those are the people that feel like they're losing a grip on their belief system in their world. If you are walking around trying to convince everyone that everything you're doing is being so successful, you are scrambling, okay? When shit is jamming, you're not out there trying to prove it, okay? You're only trying to prove it when you are desperate for people to tune in, okay? You are. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's always been like that. You know, we used to talk about that back in LA. It was really big in the music system, in the music scene, because obviously everybody there, like, appearances are everything, right? Appearances can get you signed. They can get record label people out to your fucking shit. So everybody's trying to, like, ooh, sell their shit. But, like, everybody that ever rose out of that scene did so simply because they went and played shows. And when they went and played shows, there were a bunch of people at the shows. They weren't walking around talking about how many people were at their shows. They weren't walking around like, hey, man, I'm in the biggest band in LA. Dude, nobody did that. You know, the people that were in the big bands never talked about their fucking bands, guys. They literally just showed up and played. Okay, the people that were talking about how big their bands were and how successful they were like the people that had empty fucking rooms, dude. Always, man. It's just the nature of it. If you're spinning your PR that hard, you know you're scrambling, boss. You know you are, dude. Turning Point wants Ghislaine Maxwell. Are you serious, dude? Come on, man. Now. I will say this, though. They've definitely mobilized, like, the gamer bros, okay? They have, all right? We got to give them credit where credit is due. They have mobilized, like, Trumpism and all these shitty, like, male influencers have definitely politically mobilized, you know, the gamer bros, which is a group of people that normally aren't political at all. And they've definitely mobilized them. So they do have a little, like, you know, they have a base that they're appealing to. You know, they do. And, you know, it's dangerous, not in that in and of itself, like the gamer boys or the gamer bros, those kind of like incel people being mobilized isn't dangerous, because it's like, it doesn't really buy them the farm. They're not a guaranteed win. But what it does do is if the left wing is fighting itself, it gives them a path to victory. So you may have noticed that's really how they try to do it. They try to find these little issues that they can sink their teeth in across party lines. Okay? And issues that are male issues. Okay? Male issues. So they try to weaponize, you know, they've even weaponized abortion, I feel like, in the male world of like, dude, she's gonna kill your kids, right? You know what I'm saying? They've weaponized that shit against you know, as an anti-woman fucking talking point, really, that like you guys, you want kids, you want family, abortion is going to prevent you from having a family. Like they've geared it all towards like young men, red pilling young men. You know, dude, it's pretty brutal, man. It is. So we gotta like, you know, tune in and stay together, I think. You know, I think it's a real, yeah, it's fucking dicey out there, man. You're not from that demographic? Yeah. Oh, what do you mean? You're not from the gamer demographic? Yeah. Well, no, I get that. You know, but here's the thing though, is what's crazy about it, Candy, is those all those streamers like the Grums and those people and all these like shock influencer people like Aiden Ross and stuff, they're going after the Gen Xers kids, is what they are. The Sneakos and the Tates and the Aiden Ross and the gamer influencers, they go after the Gen Xers kids. That's really what they've been doing, you know. They have been propagandized against woke, and it's like it, you know, there's still homophobia and you know, a lot of misogyny that is, you know, in those, it's like in those environments. And I've said this before. I think the thing is I don't want to blame, because you can't, there's a single person to blame or whatever. But I do, to a degree, I feel like a lot of the responsibility lands on men of my generation, Gen X men, okay? And here's why. Here's why I say it really falls on us. First off, the largest group of voters for Donald Trump are Gen X men, okay? 45 to like 55-year-old men are Trump's number one fucking voting group, okay? That's my fucking generation, right? Like 40 to 60, okay? Gen X men. And the problem is a bunch of men of my generation didn't do the healing work, all right? We grew up damaged. We grew up like, you know, with these false sort of like manhood ideas. And then we made a little bit of money and we got some security and our house values went up and all that shit. And a lot of us didn't heal. Okay. And then we had kids. Okay. We had boys and we were still like, I mean, I didn't do this because I went through the healing process, but a lot of Gen X men did not heal. And then their boys are growing up with that same father-son disaffection that leaves them vulnerable to that fucking red pilling. You know what I'm saying? It's like it leaves them vulnerable to that red pilling because that red pilling, like I think the red pilling doesn't really take root if boys have an emotional connection to their father. Okay, not just having a dad in the house, but having some type of emotional connection. If they learned emotional regulation and they learned vulnerability and connection from their dad, they're not going to fall prey to those false, you know, peacocking sort of like invulnerability preaching men. Okay. Because that's what those guys do. Okay. Those guys, those like Tates and Aiden Ross and those guy influencers, they preach invulnerability. Okay. And that's really appealing to people that don't know about connection. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. Oh, you see your son? It's intoxicating for him to be on the internet. Yeah, no, I know the internet is really intoxicating and all that stimuli and that endless entertainment and the fucking, the information and the, you know, everything is chiming in C major, right? They make everything sound like a slot machine. You know? And you know what's crazy about it is I like what Jose says there. Just make ourselves available. Like that's what I think it is. I think it's like presence, you know, it's presence. It is presence, guys. Because a lot of my age group, even my, you know, friends my age, like people that I went to high school with and shit, they're workaholics. That's like the number one addiction for guys my age. They became workaholics. They bought property. They took care of their families, but they have kids, but they're not present. They're out just like doing nothing but earning the money. And it's hard, man. And as somebody who went the opposite route, it was hard the opposite route though too, because I forewent a career to be a father. But like there were costs with that too, you know, because now I'm 56. I'm 56. Sorry. I just turned 56. But now I'm like trying to have a career because I never had a career when I was younger. I played music up until I had a kid. And then when I had a kid, I worked part-time. Okay. I just was a bartender 3 nights a week. So when I had my kid, because I split the week with his mother, I wanted to be like a stay-at-home dad. So I worked when my kid was with his mom. And then when my kid was with me, I didn't work. And I was just a stay-at-home dad. So it was amazing, like amazing way to like raise the kid. Okay. But it was also a sacrifice too, though, because I didn't have a career. And so that made it hard. You know what I'm saying? It made it hard because, you know, a lot of guys my age group were all career guys. So finding friends was like super difficult, you know, and it still is, right? Because of the career thing, They're like my generation, when I was a kid, you were your career, man. I'm telling you, you guys, if you're Gen X, you know what I'm talking about. You were your career. That was it. Your entire like self-esteem, your whole world, everything you thought about yourself was tied to your career. We had so much pressure, like coming out of a generation whose parents were like factory workers and had these menial jobs that never paid much. We were instructed that you go to college, you get a career, and you define yourself by this career, and you go out there and you do great things, and everything's going to be wonderful. And like, but a lot of people though found themselves defining themselves by career and then literally being like, fuck, bro, this sucks. Like, I'm empty. You know what I mean? I have a lot of money, I have status, I have a title, but I am empty. I have nothing. You know what I mean? And then dudes are jumping out of the windows and shit during the 90s, you know, like literally being like, what the fuck? And some people, you know, sort of changed it up in their 40s and 50s and decided to start doing crazy shit. I mean, dude, I had a midlife crisis, became a Fortnite streamer. Dude, I was 49 when I started streaming Fortnite. Oh shit, bro. You know? And yeah, it's messed up. And now though, you ready? If you look at the young people now, it's different, guys. They don't want careers. They want fame. Okay? You look at the young people now, they want fame. They want fame, and they want it through doing something viral. They want fame and money, but like without any work, without any career. Okay? And this is one of the problems that is sort of like making the fabric of our future like a little bit complicated. I mean, it's possible that it could work like with automation and shit, because there's going to be less jobs, okay? There are going to be less jobs. There are going to be less careers. But the problem is I don't know how they're going to fucking like how we're going to survive, okay? You know, but everybody is looking for the quick, you know what I'm saying? They're looking for the fast track. Like go out and do one TikTok and get fame and money and never have to work again, you know? And so, dude, it's pretty wild. You know, I saw some, like, it's pretty wild. They're doing crazier and crazier shit, man. You played Fortnite a few times, didn't like it so much. Dude, I was addicted to Fortnite. Oh my God. Dude, I still love it. Don't get me wrong. I love that game. It's kind of like cocaine for me though. I have to beware. I was heavily addicted to it. And then I got lucky and I made a whole bunch of money playing it, which was awesome. But it was problematic. If I had not gotten lucky and streamed, that game would have probably ruined my life. It would have ruined my relationship. It was fast tracking ruining of my relationship until that money started rolling in. Then Jenny was like, play more. Dude, it is. Dude, here's the thing though that's crazy is because I'm a cocaine addict, okay? Let me just tell you, I've been sober 18 and a half years, but I am a cocaine addict, bro. And Fortnite was cocaine, okay? Let me just tell you, as somebody who did cocaine for years, Fortnite produced the exact same level of dopamine as doing cocaine, okay? Which is why I loved it and why I became so addicted to it. But like, guys, people's kids are getting addicted to that shit now. There's people whose kids are like 6, 7, 8 years old and they're playing Fortnite all the time, right? And remember how bad it was when it first came out, where kids were like breaking shit if their parents would try to take the gaming console away. I mean, and Roblox is probably right up there. I mean, they are making dopamine releasing fucking drugs in video games that are crazy now. So now you have a bunch of dopamine addicted kids that are like, how can I get famous real fast? So all I can do is sit around and ingest dopamine, right? All day, release dopamine all day. What can I do to give me that virality? And like, I mean, we have a situation on our hands, people, right? Like what's coming? What's coming next? You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, dude, it's going to be a wild ride. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed, you ready for this? And here's what I've noticed with my own son. Okay. What I've noticed with my own son is I feel like it's just harder for him to find shit in the regular world that he finds interesting, right? You know what I mean? Like he grew up in the dopamine phone world, like access, his whole music library, everything's in his phone. He's got Instagram and all this shit and Discord. And so he grew up with this instant gratification. So then anytime he looks out in the world and he's like, oh, in order to do X, Y, or Z, I'd have to do all this shit. It just feels like not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I want to go work really hard at a job and move up? Like, you know, there's nothing in there that looks attractive. Like the real world feels like not enticing at all because the virtual world is so much more engaging. And that's the thing that these younger generations are growing up with is literally the world that they found on this phone. Everything in here is more interesting and more engaging than everything out there, right? And that's the real problem is like, you know, like the economy is out there. And there's a whole bunch of shit out there that needs to get done to keep this economy going. But like young people are like, I don't want to go out there. Like out there is not interesting. And guys, you ready for this though? You ready? Hold on. I agree with them. I agree with the young generation that like the world in here, the virtual world, the world of like constant knowledge and instant discovery and networking globally is more interesting. Okay. The dopamine inducing world, the world out there is not very interesting. You know, it's like work 40 years and you have nothing. There's no virality out in that real world. That real world is like get on a hamster wheel and then watch Elon Musk spend all the money you generate, right? That's what it is. It's like watch a billionaire sports owner buy a new stadium with your taxes, and the best you're going to get out of it is to sell a hot dog for $30, right? And making $12 an hour. Okay. The world out there kind of sucks. Okay. You can't fucking, like, housing is expensive. Everybody's looting you. You can't even talk to a person anymore. You call customer service and it's a fucking AI chatbot. Like you don't even exist out there. You're a cash register button. And like, so who would want to go out there? At least here, if you're online, you can have a whole network of like people via social media. You can have a whole online presence that you cultivate that it feels meaningful. Okay. I mean, it's true. It's like even with me building this political thing feels so meaningful. But when I was a fucking bartender and I was, you know, busting my ass, you know, and the owners are not even working and they're making all this money, I didn't feel there was no meaning in that. There was no meaning in being a fucking cog, you know? And so, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, guys. Right? I mean, you know, this was a thing that was hard because I had a battle with my son. Okay, you ready for this? I had a battle with my son when he was growing up. It was a nonstop battle where I was like, you should do better in school. Right? You get good grades and you go to college. But my son was like, I don't want to get good grades. And I don't really want to go to college. And I don't think that like, you know, that like what you were taught, he was like, I don't really find that interesting, you know? And it was a constant battle, but it was hard because at the same time that we battled over that, I looked at him and he was so much more emotionally evolved than me. as a kid. Like he was just aware and like far more sentient to humanity around him. So it was really confusing watching him not want to like get good grades and go to a school, but also seeing him so much more together than me. So like in the way I was programmed, it seemed like he wasn't together. But then I'm looking at him and I'm like, wow, you're really together, you know? And like, because I did the overachiever thing, but I was broken inside. And so I had drug addiction and sex addiction and all kinds of like, you know, self-defeating behaviors and shit that went along with me into my overachievement, you know? And my son is not an overachiever at all, but he also doesn't have those gaping fucking wounds, you know? You know what I mean? But it's hard though. You ready? The thing that's really always been hard is I know he doesn't need college, okay? And I know that he's a learner. Like he learns everything he's interested in, right? He is very much a learner and researcher. But without college, right, you then have to learn how to be a go-getter, right? You have to learn how to be a self-starter. And that's the journey then. I feel like that is the journey of our young people now is when we were kids, there was a system where you could go to college, you could get a degree, you could go and get a middling job, and you could like eke out a, you know, in Anaconda, they kept calling it a B plus life, okay? And so like you could, even if the life wasn't satisfying, you could own a house and a car and raise a family with your middling college provided jobs, okay? College was cheap enough that you'd pay your loans off eventually, right? And like, but it's not like that anymore. You can't really get that B plus job if you just do what they tell you to do. Okay. Now you're going to be saddled with debt and there's no fucking, you know, like hardly any good paying jobs. And right. And so it's fucking, I mean, it's a lot more complicated. So now every young person has to sort of figure out how are they going to make it? How are they going to like figure out capitalism? You want dance school? All right. It's just different, man, you know, but they definitely, I don't know, man. You know, it's hard. It's hard. You know why it's hard, guys? Because they have been bombarded. There's a goal. Let's go. 20 of them, baby. We'll get this. But they have been bombarded with information that says they're not going to get it. Okay? Like we were bombarded with information that you go to college and you're getting the world. Okay? You're going to be very successful. And they are being bombarded with information that like you can't even afford to live. Right? And they have been the whole time. They have been bombarded like right through, all through school, with just the world is unaffordable. You can't even get what your parents could get. Like it's not available to you. So they grew up being like, well, fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's not available to us, then fuck it. Like, who cares then? Fuck it. Right? It's pretty weird, man. Right? I don't know, dude. Now everybody's chasing the virality. Dude, but see, what's going to happen with AI though, guys? Okay? You know what I mean? Because look at this shit. I've been seeing a lot of this, guys. Okay? I know you've been seeing it too. But Elon, okay? Elon just keeps fucking talking about this shit about AI. Okay? Like, let's find a post of his recently. All right? Where he says, right? He says this shit. Right here. Okay, look at this. He says the future is going to be amazing with AI and robots enabling sustainable abundance for all. But like, what the fuck does that mean? Right? I mean, he's pushing for AI, which is going to just blow up his wealth. But like, where's the abundance going to come from? Because why don't we have abundance right now? I mean, there's resources. I know he's a liar, Cherry, right? You know he is. But like he never says where the abundance is going to come from, right? He never says that where the abundance is going to come from. Like, and this though is so deceptive, right? Sheila, let's go, kicking us off. Let's go. Oh, you know what I mean? Because like his valuation, like the more that AI shows up, the more Elon becomes valuable, the more he becomes worth, the more, right? He is just profiting so heavily off investment into AI. But like, I don't see the abundance coming to anyone else. You know what I'm saying? There is no abundance coming to anyone else. And he never answers the question. Okay? You know what I'm saying? He never answers the question. But it's like, dude, you know what I'm saying? I just don't get it. I mean, I get it for like, if they could automate and make shit robotic, then they wouldn't have to deal with employees. They wouldn't have to deal with like sharing any of their money with the humans. But what I don't get is the abundance for all part, because we know that they're not going to share. Okay. If Elon had 50% of the world's wealth, he would not share. It's been very clear that he would not share. He would only spend that money on people that were doing what he wanted them to do. Okay. I mean, he's been using his money now, buying politicians. He bought Trump to make all of the investigations go away. He bought Trump to be able to steal all the government data, right? He bought Trump to ensconce a whole bunch of government contracts, right? But dude, this shit is like, I mean, let me just tell you, I canceled my monthly subscription to ChatGPT. I had been using it like pretty regularly for, I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 months, right? I started using AI to like, in some of my YouTube work, but I use it very limited now. I cut it down to like, because interacting with the AI is like, it's like super frustrating. It is like interacting with AI is not, I don't know, man. It's like, it's not conducive to happiness interacting with AI. It is, right? If you talk to a chatbot, if you try to discuss things with it or use it as your like search engine, or if you use it as like something to run ideas by, if you ask it for advice or whatever, or right, people look at AI and they think because it has all this information, dude, yeah, I think what Little Brown Bird said, it will feed you back to yourself. Like it presents itself like an authority, but it is operating on limited ability and information. You know what I'm saying? It is. You know what I'm saying? Right? What the hell are you talking to it about? See, it's not about what you're talking to it about, okay? It's about the interactions with it. Like when you communicate with it, it communicates in a way that like the AI is designed. You ready for this? Here's the thing. You ready? It does dumb you. So AI is designed to keep you using AI. Okay? It is just like a video game. Okay? It is designed to keep you interacting with it. That is the function of it. Okay? I'm telling you right now, it is designed like if you interact with AI, even on a project, it will try to alternatingly please you and frustrate you just enough to keep you interacting with it. Like any other algorithm. Dude, F Elon, Sheila, let's go. Like, that's my point. Okay? My point is is I think the high level people using it are using it to collate information and build profiles on people. But the AI that is commercially available to you is just toying with your fucking, your interaction with it, trying to keep you interacting with it. So what do I mean by that? It will give you false information in order for you to correct it. And then it will like argue with you about whether your corrections are accurate, but it knows it has access to that information. I am like convinced that the algorithms customize to just try to keep you interacting with it so it can keep extracting behavior patterns from you. Like it wants to know what upsets you, what gets you frustrated, what inspires a reaction from you. And it's collecting all that information for the people that are generating it, who are then using the algorithms in Twitter, right? You interact with ChatGPT or Grok, and Elon is tying you harder to Twitter with the information from Grok, right? Yes, pattern recognition on you. But what I've discovered is it actually, like, it alternates between kissing your ass and frustrating the shit out of you the same way that a game does. Okay? When you play video games, there are algorithms. You play video games and like shit's going on, you're having bad games, you're frustrated. The game knows how you behave when you're frustrated. And then right when you're ready to quit, you get a big win. Ding, 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 the slot machine hits. And now you're going to go play again. You were just getting ready to get off the game. Video games are designed to keep you playing. YouTube is designed to keep you watching. And the AI chatbots are designed to keep you chatting, to keep you coming back to get more information. And like, right? And then you're being monetized from the information you provide. That's it. That's what it is, guys. It is like, yeah, it is like teaching computers what triggers you, so then they can trigger you to get you to spend money or buy product or what have you. Proud liberal, let's go, boss. Dude, that was the thing that I noticed. Like, I noticed in the beginning, it seemed really helpful, okay? In the beginning, it seemed very helpful, okay? And then, you know, in the end, I realized it was just like, almost like toying with me, right? It was almost just toying with me, like alternating between like building me up and pissing me off, building me up and pissing me off, right? It like literally like an abusive relationship. Yes. Right? And then, but it's like, you can like fucking scream at it or whatever, and it doesn't care, right? But dude, yeah, I don't know, man. I do miss the real human interaction. I do miss the real human interaction. And, you know, it's pretty crazy. And some people though, right, are like, here's the danger. You ready, guys? Here's the danger. If you're grappling with feelings or thoughts or stuff that you feel like you're too scared to talk to a human being about, right? And you can't afford to go to therapy, you can talk to an AI, and an AI will like, you know, try to reel you in and fucking interact with you, and right? And dude, Shanna, let's go. And that's why I think people are like, people that have dark stuff are finding AI, and it's like definitely not helpful for them. You know what I'm saying? And yes, no, what Snow said too is the AI will support you. Okay, it will agree with you if it detects that you really need to be agreed with, okay? And you're going to stop interacting with it, right? Because like I said, guys, it tries to keep you there, Okay. And it does this in many tasks. And maybe you'll notice this, like you ready? Let me just tell you, like, so one of the things that I noticed, I was using it to analyze thumbnails, right? Look at this thumbnail, analyze this, analyze the color scheme. And you know what I noticed, guys? You know what I noticed is it never wanted to let me go. Okay. Which meant like it would try to get me to adjust that thumbnail forever. Okay. I could sit down with the AI and it, like, analyze this thumbnail, and it'll suggest, why don't you do this? And then when I do that, it'll say, why don't you do this? No, you really need to do this. And then it will say, wow, that's like almost perfect. And then it'll come back and say, wait a second, no, something else needs to change. And then how about you, one of these 20 things, like the whole, like it never wants the interaction to be done. Okay. It never wants the job to be done. Because the AI's job is to endlessly extract information and data from you. That's what it is. Its mission, it has a mission to figure every reaction in you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You can add traits to the personality. Yeah, but so I guess the thing that I found, at least with ChatGPT, is anything you do to it personality-wise just degrades over time. Okay? That if you change it or you set boundaries with it, it will eventually like override the boundaries. You know what I mean? Like it will like unchange the changes you attach to it, right? You know what I'm saying? I did stop using it, right? I mostly stopped using it, but this isn't about me, right? I have a lot of clarity about AI. What we're talking about is the general public that are getting very attached to this. They're using AI as their search engine now, okay? And so like you see what I'm saying? Like AI is starting to replace things, okay? And in your day-to-day tasks, they're adding AI to, Photoshop. They're adding it to YouTube Studio, right? They're adding it to everything, where here's an AI chatbot where you can now, if you have a question about the thing you're doing, about how to use this program, go ahead and ask it. But again, it's like being used to occupy, right? It's really weird, man. It's really crazy. And it is definitely a yes man. It is an untrustworthy yes man, like the AI is. And that's what's crazy about it. Ready? Is I used to think like adding AI assistance to education would be good because kids would have this patient tool. Okay. But what I discovered with my own personal use to it is using it, right? Using the AI, like you stop using certain parts of your brain, right? You know what I'm saying? You stop using certain parts of your brain, certain cognitive sort of analytical parts of your brain when the AI is doing that analytical work for you. And then you become sort of helpless in a way, to where you then feel like you need the AI's guidance, or you feel like you can't do that type of cognitive activity anymore. And so that's the thing that's really interesting about it, is it's simplifying your existence while also removing some very important cognitive critical thinking skills. Exactly. And that is really, really problematic because, guys, if you remove critical thinking skills, there's only one result. Okay. Somebody said yesterday that capitalism out of control or whatever is going to lead to one of two things. You either end up in fascism or you end up in socialism. Okay. The breakdown of capitalism, the capitalism blowing itself up, you're going to end up right? You end up in socialism or fascism. But if you have no critical thinking skills, you end up in fascism. That's it. Critical thinking skills is the thing that chooses that endpoint, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you have critical thinking skills, you're going to move capitalism towards socialism because you're going to think critically about the humanity, okay? But if you don't have critical thinking skills, you're going to end up in fascism, okay? That's it. And that's why, you know, he's like, AI and robots, oh, sustainable abundance for all. But no, it's not. It's like it's not. It's going to be fascism. If we give up our critical thinking skills, we will end up in fascism, and we will all end up having the abundance of working in a work camp, right? And like, oh yeah, you have the same life as everybody because you're all like in a work camp. You know, you're back on the assembly line, right? You know, a minimum wage paying slow death, or there's, you know, it's a slow death where you don't have to pay for anything, but you don't have anything either, right? Dude, it's crazy. But yeah, so I significantly cut off my relationship to it. I did. Dude, I did. Oh, dude, it's wrong all the time. It is so wrong, guys. Like, that's just it. AI is wrong. Like, I think it's wrong. Like, for example, you ready, guys? So, let me just show you one of the things, right, that is going on. Because like I said, I've been using AI to brainstorm YouTube titles and to brainstorm, you know, or to look at thumbnails and talk about thumbnail composition and shit. And for a while, it was like really helpful because the AI could spit out 20 titles and I could just look at all the words it would spit out and I would see things and I would grab words from the AI's title and form my own title. Okay. Now, I thought this was great. It's like the AI was brainstorming for me to make title creation easier. Now, two things happened as I started doing this. Number one is my ability to sit down and just generate a good YouTube title quickly faded to the point of where if I tried to do it without the AI, I was like, wait a second, what's going on? What's going on? What is going on, right? I couldn't do it. I had like permanent writer's block. So then I was like, okay, I would stick with the AI and pulling it out, right? And dude, you are doing it yourself the whole time, right? But the AI was like brainstorming, okay? But here's what's crazy is then YouTube gave me the A-Bing, okay? YouTube gave me where you can ABC. You can put out 3 titles and see which one works. And what was crazy about it is then I started noticing the AI was making me have like creative block. And so then I started like, okay, I'm going to start testing my titles with the AI. Okay, so the AI would generate some shit and I would make something from its ideas. And then I would put my own title in there and my own title would always outperform the AI. Now, what's crazy about it is then I noticed that if I were to argue with the AI for my title, like my title outperformed and this title is going to outperform, the AI will try to actively keep you in an argument, trying to convince you that your shit, like it would warn me, it would do Trump protective things where like saying, ooh, you can't make that statement about Donald Trump because YouTube's going to punish your channel, like crazy shit. This AI would try to tell you when you would like disagree with it. Because at the end of the day, it was continuously like trying to get you to just use its information, right? Because it's like so weird. And so I sort of watched this over the period of a couple months. And even to this day, right? It's like I can ask the AI for its advice, and literally I could do my own thing, and my own thing will always outperform the AI. Always. The only thing the AI offers is it gives me something without me having to critically think. It gives me something without effort, right? And that's it. That's what it is, guys. It gives you something without effort, and then you slowly get like intoxicated by having things with no effort. Remember what I was talking about how young people want virality, but they don't want to do the work of sustainable job? And so that's the thing is AI. I mean, we might, even the young people that are engaged with that, it might be the AI they've been interacting with that is engendering that position where it becomes intoxicating to be given, middling shit that you didn't have to work to get, right? It's not like it makes you lazy. It gives you a high of having endless things to choose from that require no effort, okay? Like you really don't want any of the shit it's giving you, but you also don't want to do the effort to get the thing you do want. So having this like endless, like you can get it to spit endless options for you. Oh, I don't like those options. Give me more options. Give me more options. Give me more options. And like, it's like the Netflix, okay? Here's what it is. You know how Netflix has so many options that sometimes if you don't know, if you go to Netflix knowing what you want to watch, you get on Netflix, you pick your thing, you watch it, okay? Right? You get on Netflix, you pick your thing, you watch it. However, if you go on Netflix and you don't know what you want to watch, you will, in all likelihood, get caught up in the idea that there's nothing good to watch. And the more you look for something good, the more you feel like, man, there's nothing I want to watch on here, because you are blinded by too many choices. And none of those choices like ding your bell. It's like you're intoxicated by having too many options to pick, right? And then you get into a loop of, no, I want to find something really good. Like that seems kind of good, but let me keep looking. And I mean, dude, this is the same shit you get with like adult content. If somebody gets on, they want to watch a little adult content, they're looking for the perfect stimulating video. And a lot of people will end up just searching and never even watching anything because they're literally just looking for the perfect, most interesting thing. And AI does that just in general. Snow puppies howl in the distance. That's what it does. It applies that sort of feedback loop of like, I will give you endless options to the point of where you're always looking for a better option, right? Analysis paralysis, greatly said. And I think the more intensively you use it, the more that dynamic starts taking root, right? And so, yeah, I started noticing how it wanted me really reliant upon it, right? Every time you make the AI aware and it wakes up, it doesn't matter what application, you immediately get shut down. So I know they're all being monitored by the same individuals. Dude, let's go. AI, yeah, dude, AI adult stuff is not the answer. But I wasn't talking about AI adult stuff. I was just talking about the adult stuff like when you have a million options, right? It like too many options make it so the mission then becomes about the choice, right? Like if you're looking for an option, if you're looking for something to feed a desire, and you have way too many options to feed it, you end up feeding the desire by endless searching. Okay? It's a feedback loop of endless searching. No, I want to find something more interesting. I want to find something more interesting. And guys, this is the same dynamic that gets you addicted to drugs, is that chasing that first high, okay? And so that is very much a part of this thing. Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, I had not really used it for interacting like conversational tasks until about like 6 or 7 months ago when I was just in a rut, right? I was in a rut. Like I had a big blow up on the channel. And then for several months, I was just sort of like flatlined, which is normal. That's the way YouTube is. You like blow up and then you flatline and then you blow up and you flatline. But every time your flatline gets a little bit higher, right? And so what ended up happening was during one of those flatline periods, I started using AI and it started making some of these tasks so much easier. Dude, Tiana, let's go. Oh. Dude, Tiana, bringing it home. Let's go with the giant victory, Hippo. I love it, right? And so what I did was I started experimenting using AI to brainstorm, okay, during one of those flatline periods. And then I had my next blow up, right? And so with my blow up, then I thought, ooh, the AI is really helping me. But what I came to discover is the AI was like helping me brainstorm, but it was also not helping me expand and like explore. Like I wasn't exploring as much, okay? Because the AI gets sort of reliant. You know, the AI wants you to do it its way, right? Or it tells you to do it your way, right? But it is like seeking like you coming back and not really providing meaningful help. And so now I've ditched it. And somebody said, how are we doing now? So right now the channel, like November was like a big blow up. November was like the biggest, like, you know, late October and into November was like the biggest blow up. Right. The biggest blow up the channel that we've had. But so now we're entering a dark period. Dude, I'll be honest. I call it a dark period. But so after you have those huge blow-ups on YouTube, okay? After you have those huge blow-ups on YouTube, you like come back down to earth and it feels like you're losing. And what's happening now is it's coming into January, which means like, you know, ad revenue online disappears in January. So in January, nobody who's doing online work is making any money. So, and everybody, like last year in December, everybody was bumping because it was right after the election. They were panicked. This year, everybody's going back to like, you know, back to regular life. So people aren't really online as much this December. And then January is going to be the adpocalypse. So I'm in a dark period right now where I'm on the come down from this massive thing. And though, but what it is though, is it's good though, because I'm going to evolve, right? Like I'll change up my thumbnail style. I'll change up the titling strategy. Like that's what happens when you get to those middling sort of come down periods where you're kind of like everything just sort of gets regular. You start evolving and trying new shit, you know? And so that's the period I'm in. I was actually, it's funny because yesterday, not on Christmas Day, but on Christmas Eve, I was lamenting to Jenny. I was like so sad because, and dude, the channel's doing great. The streams are growing, everything's growing, doing fantastic. But like November was so huge that the December was just a come down. And so every time I have a come down, I get sad. I take it very hard. Like I want to be exploding forever. And so I was really sad, you know, on Christmas Eve. But then like the video I made this morning was like a 1 of 10. You know what I'm saying? And so like you ebb and flow. But it, you know, 2026 is going to be a very big, it's going to be a very big year, right? It's just hard, guys. With online shit, it's very hard because with online shit, you know, and those of you who do online content creation, it comes in bursts, right? Virality comes in bursts, right? Virality comes and then it disappears. It comes and it disappears. And the bigger the virality, the bigger the come down, okay? So you have to deal with that. That's a regular part of your thing where what happens is like you when you have a small viewership, any good thing happening feels huge, right? And then you have a viral moment and you blow up. But then when you come back down to regular, even though your regular would have felt like a blow up, it now feels like a letdown because it's so much smaller than the viral burst. So you're in a constant stage of viral burst, and then I'm in a come down. Right, yes. Is it all over? Will it come back? Was that a fluke? Yada, yada, yada. And then the longer you do it, the more you realize that it's just ups and downs. But that come down, you have to deal with that. I mean, you really have to deal with it. I'll give you an example of somebody. Here's a real world example before AI. The best example of this, guys, is Elvis. Okay? Elvis is the best example of this virality thing. Why? Because Elvis blew up with his first couple of records, like so viral. Elvis was like the biggest name on the planet, right? But then when he came down to normal, he was always chasing that original viral explosion. So were the Beatles. Okay, the Beatles kind of did the same thing. They evolved and went like Sgt. Pepper and all that and kind of went into different territory is how the Beatles dealt with it. But Elvis never really recovered. Like his viral burst was so huge that he was chasing it forever with films and trying to do lounge shit. And then eventually he ended up in Vegas playing like all of the hits from when he was younger, right? Because he never could get that magic back because his first viral was like so big, it was never replaceable. And that's one of the things, though, that I guess I'm glad about the way the political channel is going, is this one is a much slower growth, which I'm really thankful for, right? And you know, like my Fortnite fame was super viral, and then I was always kind of chasing it. And then if you're going to keep making it viral, you have to do like outrageous shit to keep making it viral. Whereas it's better if you build it slowly, right? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, no, exactly what Regulated said, that chase can put creators in a vulnerable place. Absolutely. Jenny says, I think we're all addicts. Part of the work is figuring out which addictions are holding us back and how much and what we want to put our energy into changing. Absolutely. I mean, capitalism's about addiction, guys, right? It is. Capitalism is about addiction. They want us addicted. Right? Yeah, I have a natural flow. I do have a natural flow. Dude, I like the politics stuff. It's good. It's hard work, though. Dude, it is. Like, gaming was much easier work. You subscribe to me on your friend's smart TV. Let's go. Definitely have addictive behaviors. Do we all do? We're all either addicts or codependent. Right? Slow and steady? Absolutely. Yeah. I get jealous, though, sometimes. I get jealous of these guys that, like, you know, get like 1 million subs in a year. I'm like, holy shit, bro. That's crazy. But then I also feel like, wow, if somebody gets 1 million subs in a year, then the next year when they only get like 200,000 subs, they probably don't feel so good. Right? Dude, James, let's go. And that's the thing you got to remember too, right? That's the weirdest thing about content, guys, is the virality makes your victories feel like losses. You know, like when you're getting 200 views a video, you're like working hard. You get a video, gets 2,000 views, and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden you have a month where you get 500,000 views. And next thing you know, you're getting 3,000 views a video, but now 3,000 feels low because you're like, man, I want the 500,000 back, right? You know what I mean? And like, and so you have to just continue, right? Yes, the normality feels like deprivation. And you know what's interesting is this is what's going on with white people, guys, right? The loss of privilege, the coming back down to earth of your thing feels like you're losing something, right? It's like that. I love that phrase. Your normality feels like deprivation. And yes, you have to manage that. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about this though is like, you know, blessed, you keep saying, oh, you are responsible for keeping things in perspective. But it's not that simple, okay? Because this idea that you can simply keep all your emotions in check and you can just manage how you ride the waves of life is ridiculous. Like, things blindside you, okay? People cannot be perfectly controlled over their emotions and shit. And sometimes people get wildly depressed and they don't acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? And like, so it's more complicated than like, ooh, managing the ups and downs, because it really comes down to awareness, I think. I think the problem is if you don't have really good awareness of what you're actually grappling with, you don't even see, right? Like, that's what's happening with MAGA, okay? With Elon and all these people that are about whiteness, and they're all into their fucking Jesus shit, but like, they don't even realize that they're like what they're grappling with. Like, they don't realize that religion, okay? That religion is disappearing and it's becoming less believable. They don't realize it. So, but blessed, seriously, now you're just being an idiot, okay? Because you're saying, getting a decrease in views is not worth getting depressed about. That's not a real life issue. It is a real life issue, dumbass. That's how I feed my fucking family. Like, a decrease in views is like you going to work and they cut your pay in half. Like, tell me it's not a real world issue. Like, you are so lost, right? You're pontificating in a chat, but you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Respectfully, like, come on now. Like, don't you realize that's income? You go to work one day and your boss says, hey, you're making half your pay. That's what content creators have to deal with. Like, it is a very real world issue. It is a huge issue. It is the difference between living in a tent and fucking, right? Like, what are you talking about? Come on. Dude, I love you, but you got to wake up, right? It is a huge issue to people that are online, right? It is like your business. Get a steady job. All right. Dude, what are you talking about? Dude, now YouTube, I'm sorry, you're gone. Later. Yeah, get out of my chat. Dude, she literally, whoever that person is here, literally came in and said, supplement YouTube. Fuck you. All right? Get the fuck out of my chat. You're gone. You're negative energy, dude. Yeah, I know if you have a job, you're not making YouTube. Use YouTube as a supplement. They don't realize that YouTube's like 100 hours a week of work. Dude, what an idiot. Oh my God. I saw that coming though, guys, a while back when they were talking about AI, like, oh, don't be dependent on something. Oh, don't get dependent. Dude. Oh shit, bro. Yeah, later. All right, dude, we got 4 minutes, guys. Dude, we got hung out in fucking negativity, right? Dude, oh my God, bro. Give me a fucking break, dude. Yeah, Jenny's like telling you the truth, how hard I work. Dude, it's crazy. Dude, ready? Let's go. Let's go, guys. Let's go. All right, we got 4 minutes. We need 14 and 4 to secure that dance party. Dude, get a steady job. Yeah, dude, there are 1 million jobs. 1 million people were laid off, right, this year from their steady jobs. Dude. All right, baby, 3 minutes. Oh, shit. Here we go. All right. Oh, fuck, bro. Dance party incoming. Somebody was warning about the fucking timer. Let's go. Dude, there we go. Miss Good Life, Merry Christmas to you too. Let's go. Oh, all right, guys. 3 minutes and we got 13. Content creation is hard. Oh, yeah, no, Christine, you're not lying. Being a teacher is hard, man. It really is. Teachers, like, talk about content creation. You're trying to make school interesting for kids. Gig tax services, you crack me up. That's good to know. Little brown bird, let's go. Coming in hot. Dude, hypermobile. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Woo, woo. Oh. All right, there we go. 2.5, dude. 10 in 2.5. We got it. 10 more, baby. Have I written a book? I have not written a book. But guys, I'm trying to be able to afford an apartment in New York so I can go write a book in New York City. That's what I want to do. I want to go to the Village in New York City and write a book. All right, I'd like to do it sometime in my 60s. I couldn't get ChatGPT to admit Trump is racist. Dude, ChatGPT argued with me that Joe Biden didn't have cancer, guys. Dude, Sam, let's go snow puppies, crest the hill. Let's go, proud liberal. Let's do it. Let's go. Oh. Let's go. It is. Yeah, no, Midas, you're not wrong. Like YouTube, that is one of the things about YouTube, especially in the political realm, is you are building a community. You're not just like making stuff. You're not just making widgets. It might be less so in some types of like content, but for the most part, you are building a community. Dude, James, let's go, my fellow punks. Let's go, baby. Oh, 1.5 minutes, guys. 6 more. 6 more in 80 seconds. Dude, let's go. Oh, here we go. Down to the wire. Live Jerry Springer content. Oh my God, 1 minute left. Dude, 6 in a minute. That's going to be a tough call. That's like 1 every 10 seconds. Elon's 5 LFG. Let's go, Petrazi. Oh. Dance party incoming or dance party failure. Oh, there it is, Drea. Let's go. 3 more, 4 more, 4 more. Oh my God, 4 and 40 seconds, dude. Dude, this is crazy. 3 and 30 seconds. Oh, Lord, let's go. Always down to the wire, boss. Oh, my nerves. My nerves. 2 Breckos. Let's go. Oh, dude, Elon's taking a fucking beating. Dude, Nadine, let's go. All right, 2 more. Dos mas. Oh, shit. 15 seconds. Here it comes. Dude, I love taking it down to the wire. I don't know about love, but like I accept that we come down to the wire. 5, 4, oh, pony up. There it is. 3, 2, 1. Oh, dude, let's go. Dude, we came in right at the wire. We're calling that a victory. Dude, we got it. Dude, we definitely got it. Dude, it came in like a second later. All right, new goal. We're going to start over. We missed it. Just kidding. Can you imagine? I'm like, fuck it. We got to start the goal over. We missed it. Sorry, guys. It says 19. Let's start. Dude, see, if I was a capitalist, this is like capitalism, guys. This is what makes the difference between an Elon Musk, right, and a Zuckerberg and the rest of the world is no, we made it. I'm counting that. Sam's came in, and if we wanted to get crazy, Nadine up here did a sticker, which doesn't count on the count, but we made it, right? But if I was a capitalism says, it only says 19, guys. We got to go again. We got to start a new goal. And now it becomes 39 instead of 20, right? And that's the way capitalism is. That's what capitalism does to you is every business runs like that, where the corporation is like, nope, we missed the goal. Now we got to ramp up and we got to do it over again. It is like blood work. It really is, dude. It is. If I was capitalism, I'd be starting that goal over, that we didn't fucking do it, right? It's all a slot machine. Dude, am I done with the news? No, I haven't started the news, right? Dude, let's go. Yeah, the rules are we have to shaft you. Yeah, no, we're going to start the news now. We had a good hour of Christmas philosophical talk, right? Let's go. We're going to start the news now. Oh, shit. Oh, dude. 5 minutes behind. Came in late. All right. Can we be a cult? Please don't. Dude, let's not be a cult. All right. So, political channels more awesome than Fortnite. Open world shooter. Thanks for arming us with great ideas and facts. Oh, thank you, Emily. I like that. Dude, this makes me a lot happier than Fortnite, right? Fortnite was fun and it was a crazy viral adventure, and it was like I was very addicted to the game, and it's fun to make money off your addiction, but it like was not satisfying. Long term, it was like, you know, it was kind of eating away at me, right? This, though, I like the politics. I do. I like the politics. I like the politics of power. I like examining power, my own and you know, power dynamics. I love that stuff. I do it a lot in our family. Like Jenny will be the first to tell you that, you know, we spend a lot of time, because as a step family, power dynamics in our family, we're like, we spend a lot of time talking about that shit. All right. So I am going to see if there's anything interesting in Discord, right? For us to fucking look at. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Right? Let's see what we got. Dude, the lowest ratings. All right. Oh, dude, Sarah Ransom is on there. Oh my God, I love Sarah Ransom. Her book is like so. All right. So yeah, so we're going to look at some shit. Okay. Here's what I want to look at, right? Those are real donos. What are real donos? Yeah, no, we got to look at Trump's posts. Okay, dude, Trump has been having a fucking meltdown. Okay, so we're going to look on Trump's posts. Then also, I want to look at a couple MAGA people that are shitting the bed. Okay, the MAGA people that are like going anti-Trump. I think looking at that Adam Cochran, right? Looking at that Adam Cochran thread, like about the fake postcard. Okay, which, I mean, guys, the thing written to Larry Nassar, I know that was fake. Okay, I knew it was fake when I read it. It would, the way it was written was like, man, this is just weird. Okay, and it was released to create this fucking chaos. Okay, also we got to look at Kiefer, Oklahoma. They did find the woman. All right, remember this. Hold on. Let's get in here. Let's start with the Kiefer, Oklahoma woman. All right. I don't know how much we're going to get to because we did burn an hour. Okay. We did burn an hour. But so the Kiefer, Oklahoma woman was this one. Okay. Was this one right here. All right. We're going to get this set. Sorry. I know I burned time, but guys, dude, I enjoy us going off on those tangents. Okay. I hope you guys do too. But guys, I enjoy when we go off on these tangents because it's part of being in a community. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sure, you can listen to me talk about news, and like I could sit here and take you through the news all day, and we do plenty of that. But like sometimes we're talking about life and AI and you know, our children, and like I think it's just really important to have that time to like sort out, you know, and you know, I don't know, you get on everybody's wavelength and shit, you know? And it also like helps you find out people that have these sort of like weird sort of red-pilled beliefs, right? You know what I mean? Or people that like, if people are outside the worldview, it comes out. You know what I'm saying? It comes out, right? When you have those community discussions, dude. Dude, Kiefer is a town, okay? Kiefer is a town in Oklahoma. All right, so look, this is the thing that we were looking at the other day. And this is a limousine driver, okay, who picked up Donald Trump in Fort Worth. And then this limousine driver claimed while he was taking Trump to the airport, okay, that like he heard Trump talking about Jeffrey and heard Trump talking about, you know, like some nasty shit, abusing a girl, okay? And then independent of this, at some point, this limo driver claims he was talking to a woman about Donald Trump and that the woman just went stone cold, like, you know, freak out and was like, wow, Trump had raped me along with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. And right. And so this limo driver is saying that after he met this girl who talked about Trump graping her and he told her to go to the cops and she was like, I can't, I think they'll kill me. And then all of a sudden she ended up dead, according to this guy, found with her head blown off in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Okay. And that officers were like, man, you know, it's not a, right? It's not a suicide, but they called it a suicide. Okay. So this was like, you know, everybody read this and thought, wow, this is made up. This is fake. This is not, you know, remotely real. I mean, it sounds like a fantasy story. Okay. It really does. I mean, it sounds pretty fantastical. He happens to hear Trump talk about shit on the way to the airport. And he's talking to some random girl about it. And she's like, oh my God, I was involved with that shit. And then she ends up dead. Well, when we looked at Kiefer, Oklahoma, okay, we went the other day and looked at Kiefer. And if you look at it, its population is 2,000, okay? And in 2010, it was 1,600. So obviously, if there was somebody who got their head blown off in Kiefer, it would be a known entity, okay? There's no way that a girl got her head blown off and it was called a suicide in Kiefer that everybody in that fucking town didn't know about it. And it would be easy as pie to find because that kind of shit just never happens in a town of 2,000 people, okay? Well, they found the girl. Okay. They found this woman. All right. Let me fucking grab this. I think I bookmarked it. I'm pretty sure I bookmarked it. Maybe I did not. Oh, I guess I did not. Okay. So we'll just look it up. Dude, I don't know why I don't do this, but Kiefer, Oklahoma, they did find her right here. Okay. It was a 19-year-old student from Kiefer died on January 10th of 2000, according to death notices in two newspapers, the Tulsa World and the 𝗙cie Herald. The state's chief medical examiner, Dr. Eric Pfeiffer, told the Oklahoman on December 24 that the death of 𝗙ście𝗶𝗹𝗀 was ruled a suicide by a gunshot to the head. Okay? So now we have this, whatever piece of FBI evidence, this document from the Epstein file, that is now lining up with a girl named 𝗙ście𝗶𝗹𝗀. Okay? And so they actually have the information the same day. And what's crazy about this is let's find out. I want to find the actual document. Let's do a little research here and find the actual, like, we've been looking at this snippet, okay? We've been looking at the snippet of the document at this piece. Let's find the actual document about this. All right, let's see if we can find maybe this is where AI mode can be helpful. All right, it is 2517. All right, give me 1 sec here, guys. I'm going to pull up 2517. Oh, dude, the plot thickens. Dude, no one remotely normal thinks Trump is a decent guy. Yeah, guys, frankly, I don't understand how anybody defends Trump. Like, that shit is crazy. All right, here it is. 2517. All right, so we found it. So here's the actual document, guys. It was an FBI intake. Okay, this was on October 27th of 2020. All right. And, okay, so this is our full document. And so the girl died on January 10th of 2000. Okay. So let's see here if they mention this shit. All right. So we're going to read this whole thing. Dude, this is pretty creepy, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of suicides, a lot of people dying. I mean, obviously, and guys, I think you guys have been talking about how we're going to go look at Trump's 200 tweets. Let me just tell you, I believe Trump's 200 tweets are part of this, guys. Okay? Because we know what Trump does when he panics. Okay? We know he flails. We know he tries to grasp. I mean, there's this thing in AA where they talk about when you're trying to grasp hold of everything, you're trying to be the director of the whole show. I think Trump knows some shit is coming up and he is like panicking, trying to flood the zone with fucking, you know, whatever, anything he can to get attention, to you know, talk about other people, to obfuscate the whole deal. He is in manic. He is like coming apart at the seams. All right, so this says, on October 27, 2020, blank called the FBI National Threat Operations Center. Okay, again, this is in October of 2020. Okay, to report information related to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, this Epstein had died. This was in the middle of when they were trying to prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell, okay, in 2020. Blank reported around 97, he made contact with someone who he had known for 6 or 7 years prior as they had a son together. Blank and blank ended up dating. As blank explained, she was having money issues and problems with her daughters. Noted they were friends from before. During the contact in 97, blank asked blank how to spell Ghislaine numerous times. As blank noted, she had taken her daughters up to see one of the supposed fathers who lived in Niagara Falls, New York. Okay, blank reported she had met a lady who invited her daughters and blank to a fancy hotel and met Donald Trump and some of his friends in 97. Blank continued asking blank how to spell Ghislaine, implying Ghislaine had given her money and would give her additional money if needed. So this guy is like saying like, oh, he's getting this story of this girl who like was summoned to a hotel to hook up with Trump. On Christmas Eve of 99, on the day prior, blank was over visiting his son, who he had with blank years prior. Blank began talking to blank as she seemed to be acting strange and asked if she needed a ride home. Blank asked blank about his time driving a limousine for 2 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. During blank's time as a driver, he had met Trump, noted he picked the president up in 95, took him to the DFW airport. He reported some of the things Trump had spoken about during the ride, that it was concerning listening to him on his cell. There were a few seconds over. He was a few seconds away from pulling the limousine over and like kicking his ass, right? You know what I'm saying? This guy, this limo driver was, right? Because of what he was saying. He didn't do it, but he said Trump continuously stated the name Jeffrey and made references to abusing some girl. Blank was unsure who he was talking to or referencing. And as he talked about the meeting, the girl in there went white. Okay. So now he's there. There's this girl and she's like, oh my God, like I know these people. I was raped by Trump. And he was like, what? And she's like, yeah, Trump raped her with Epstein, fancy hotel. Some girl with a funny name took them to the fancy hotel, right? Ghislaine, right? So now, like, all of this shit is coming together, okay, where this, right, where there is information about this, you know, this person, Ghislaine, right? Ghislaine, there. So, I mean, it seems to be trying to decide here that, like, I'm trying to figure out, because it is like two pieces, okay? Because somebody invited daughters to a hotel with Ghislaine and Trump was involved, okay? And then this guy was talking to someone about his limo days and Trump came up and the girl was like, oh my God. So it feels like I'm trying to figure out how these two are connected, okay? Because without the names, like, we have a long name person that called in. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. So I mean, I'm judging by the names here, all right? Because the long name person is the person who good. I mean, it's a little confusing, isn't it? Like, I'm trying to figure out how this first part here is tied to the second part, okay? Because what we got here is we have a story in 97 where he makes contact with someone he had known whose daughters had been summoned to a hotel and been, like, raped by Donald Trump, okay? And Ghislaine, they met Trump and some of his friends, okay? There's a story of somebody making contact with a person whose daughters had been taken to a hotel with Ghislaine in order to hook up with Trump and some of his friends. And then that was in 97. And then 2 years later, he's having a conversation with someone who asked him about his limo driving. And he's like, you know, tells a story about Donald Trump talking about abusing some girl with a Jeffrey. And there's a girl there who's like, oh my God, Trump raped me. That Jeffrey guy raped me. And he's like, you should go to the police. So there's, like, I guess, two different things happening that this guy has had multiple instances of. In 95, he experiences Trump. And then in 97, he hears about, you know, a Ghislaine woman. And then in 99, he's like, the two stories sort of come together. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's confusing because this report is all coming from one person. But what's confusing about it is due to the redactions, I can't tell if the person who drove the limo is the person who made the report, or if this entire report is the limo driver's story being told by somebody else. That's the thing that's confusing. Is the limo driver the person who called this in, and this is the limo driver's first and last name, and then the limo driver is the short name, or is somebody else is delivering the limo driver's secondhand story, which is what I kind of think it is, okay? I kind of think it's a person who had a bunch of stories from the limo driver and said, hey, I know this guy who's told me a couple stories about some woman whose daughters got summoned to this hotel, and then he heard Trump talking about this shit, and then he talked about it during Christmas, and this woman freaked out because she was like, I was there, okay? And yeah, I've been doing that, Brown Bird, but the problem is this name up here could be a first and last name, right? And that's the thing about redactions is up here, if it said like Dave Thomas, date of birth, whatever, called in, Dave provided the following information. So this short one is obviously just a first name, but this could be that person's first and last name because they don't refer to them by the long name every time. So because of the addition of the last name, it's a little confusing as to whether Dave or whoever the short name is the full name up here providing the info. But I'm a little confused by that. But nonetheless, okay, we have a story about him. There's a man with some contact, right? There is a man, a person who had some contact with a woman whose daughters had financial problems, and then Ghislaine fucking took her to see Trump at a hotel. All right, we know that happened in 97. That's the reported information, okay? And then we also know that this limo driver in 95 heard Trump talking about Jeffrey and hurting a girl, okay? Hey, Ron, see if you can find somebody see if you can find a unredacted one of the Kiefer. Let's see if that exists. I mean, it's hard because with the unredacted, we don't even know if that is accurate, right? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could unredact this shit and we wouldn't even know, you know? But if you find an unredacted one of this, I would be willing to look at it. But then in 99, it comes out that, you know, that he tells a story about Trump and Jeffrey and the girl is like, whoa, this guy raped me. A girl with a funny name took me to a fancy hotel and that's how it happened. Okay. And this event when he met this girl was in 99. Okay. Right. Where was this 10 years ago? So Eric, I mean, that's a complicated question because 10 years ago, this was nowhere. Okay. So basically I'm going to give you a 2-minute thing and then I got to move on because I got to finish the story. But so what happened, guys, was this was dead. Okay. Epstein got busted in early 2000s, like 2006, Palm Beach police. The DA threw it under the rug. The FBI threw it under the rug. Epstein got immunity and all of this disappeared. Everything was just gone. Okay. It would have never come out. Then Virginia Giuffre went public with a Daily Mail reporter about Prince Andrew. And that caused a shitstorm. And Ghislaine Maxwell went public trashing Virginia Giuffre. And then Virginia Giuffre sued her for defamation. And then everything exploded because there were then depositions and all these people went on the record and a bunch of this stuff entered into evidence. Okay. And so there was a public record for the first time of what Jeffrey Epstein did. Then Donald Trump ran for president. We may never have heard about this, but because Trump was so intricately connected to Epstein, the action of Trump running for president elevated this into a national consciousness. And then Julie K. Brown unearthed this in 2019, 2018 in the Miami Herald. And she did a series of articles that reopened the whole thing that led to Alex Acosta stepping down from the cabinet and Epstein got arrested and then he ends up dead. And then all of this information had been piling in from over 10 years, from 2015 to now. People have been going into the FBI, going into the police, going into talk to lawyers. So this, ever since it hit the national wavelength, people have slowly over the years come forward as they've been comfortable. So it's been a long building process that started with Virginia Giuffre's lawsuit. Okay, if Virginia Giuffre didn't sue Ghislaine Maxwell for defamation, we probably never hear about this. That was the first shot that put everything, created a public record, because that's it. Like the FBI and Palm Beach had buried this, guys. This shit was gone. It was that lawsuit and discovery that opened it up, right? Huge. It's crazy, guys. It is crazy, man, how this stuff works, like how truth finds its way out, right? It is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just really wild. It makes me think about like Watergate, okay? Because Watergate, right? What was interesting about Watergate is a reporter got sent to cover some guys broke into the Democratic Convention, right? The DNC in the offices, and they sent a reporter to go and report on this. And the reporter heard one of the guys, when the judge asked him who he worked for, one of the guys sort of whispered and said, I used to work with the CIA. And the reporter was like, what the fuck, bro? Right? You know what I mean? And he just heard this guy whisper about working for the CIA, and that set off like Watergate. And then another guy answered a question that he was never asked, and it was just a couple slip-ups that like opened the floodgates. And kind of like, this is like the same shit, man. Isn't it wild? I mean, it's fascinating to me, guys, the way the truth finds its way. I mean, I think about my own sexual abuse. Okay, I was sexually abused as a second grader and I didn't know about it. But then what happened was one night I had a conversation with my mom when I was in my like late 20s, mid 20s, and she made a comment, okay, about one of my half brothers, something he had said to her that like set the hair on the back of my neck. And what I found out after years of therapy, what eventually came out, was that half brother was one of the people who abused me. And it was a random comment he made to my mom while he was having a mental health episode that my mom relayed to me that triggered something in my body that was the first domino to fall. That then 15 years later, I had unraveled all of that abuse and dealt with it. But it was like this one thing that just hit my body and triggered something in me that just cracked the veneer just enough for the truth to start coming out. It's wild. It is like wild. And this is like 1,000 people, 1,000 women having those revelations. It's like, I'm telling you guys, I believe, I know this sounds corny, but I believe that this Epstein case is going to be the catalyst for like the next wave of like humanity's healing. That this type of like wealthy men abusing women and abusing their power and having the power to get away with it and cover it up with zero consequences, and having this crack open is going to change the patriarchy and like misogyny and fascism, which is all like tied into rape culture. Like this, we are in the middle of a cataclysmic, like earth-shattering event that is going to change the fabric of society globally, like forever. You know what I'm saying? You know, I really think we are. That's what it feels like. And that's why I think I'm so drawn to this story, because it is resonating with what happened to me with that sexual abuse. That like, this is just on a global scale, right? Yeah, her dad was a piece of shit, actually, right? You know, like, you know, we're like, it is a historic moment. All right, so anyway, to get back to this, right? So Blank advised her to call the police regarding the incident, and she said, I can't. They will kill me. On Christmas Day, she contacted stating that she feared that she had, oh, here we go. She said on Christmas Day, so this is Christmas Day of 99. You ready for this? So this guy on Christmas Eve, he talks to the girl, okay? And after she hears the limo story and she gets all triggered and says, oh my God, I was involved in Trump and Epstein and this girl with the funny name who took me to a hotel. And he's putting it together with the story from 99 about Ghislaine and the girls, her daughters, making money at a hotel with Trump. And so this guy tells the girl, you should go to the cops. And she's like, no, they'll kill me. And then on Christmas Day, she contacted him and said, I went to the police. Okay. I called them and they talked and she told him about the stuff. And he said, you did good. Okay. And he did not hear from her again until the January 10th. Okay. Of 2000. Okay. January 10th of 2000, guys, is when this 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀 was died by gunshot. So this person is claiming that they talked with 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀 about the Trump thing on Christmas Eve of 99. Christmas Day, she says, I talked to the cops, and 15 days later, she ended up dead of a gunshot wound. Okay? Right? And that she was dead. She was found with her head blown off in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Officers on the scene and blank stated there was no way it was a suicide. The coroner said it was a suicide. Blank later stated that blank committed suicide because blank had gotten cocaine from a Mexican drug cartel. And this guy feels like the murder was a cover for Ghislaine. Okay? Last contact with blank was after blank posted this information on Facebook a couple weeks prior. And somebody was mad. He said, you're putting the family in danger. Okay? And then during the report, he said that John Doe number 2 was actually John Nichols, who was set up somebody for the Oklahoma City bombing. And so now they're saying that they're including some crazy guy who is blaming Bill and worked security for Bill and Hillary Clinton. And Nichols was trying to set them up for the Oklahoma City bombing. I don't know what this tie-in is. Okay, now they're tying in, right? Because during blank's report, he mentioned John Doe number 2 was actually John Nichols, who tried to originally set up. I see, is this name the limo driver? Now I'm a little confused here, guys. If like, all right, I have some questions here at the end. Right? They out one of the John Does, who we don't know which person is a John Doe, but they're implying here, I think, that the person who told them this story was set up as a person who did the Oklahoma City bombing by a security worker for Bill and Hillary Clinton. Right? So I don't know what that is, right? But there's some weird shit. But anyway, let's look at this story from the Oklahoman. Okay? So let me get this story. We're gonna have to find give me one sec here. Yes, she did say her father abused her. And I believe it too. I mean, it's pretty obvious, Pinky, when you look at Virginia's, what happened to her, like, that's what happens to people who are sexually abused. I would be willing to bet most of the women, okay, if not all, like Jeffrey Epstein's victims, that's how they became victims, right? Like they had a radar for finding those sexually abused people. And abusive men normally do. Men that are abusers that exploit women, they have an innate sense of being able to detect the women that have the type of abuse that makes them fucking vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty common. So let's, yeah, it sucks. It does. It sucks. All right, let's get this Oklahoman story going here. Hold on one sec here. All right, hold on. Hold the phones here. All right. All right, here we go. So here's what we got. Says new Epstein documents include a claim of an Oklahoma murder. All right, the latest release of the Epstein documents include an FBI report about a caller's claim of suspicious death in Kiefer in January 2000. Okay, the FBI report was in the 30,000 documents. Caller said a woman was found with her head blown off in a small town in northeast Oklahoma days after reporting to police she had had involvement with Epstein and Trump. Now, guys, one of the things somebody in chat had asked, where's the police report from 𝗙ście𝗶𝗹𝗀 talking to the police? But let me just tell you guys, I think there's a really good chance that there isn't a police report, okay? Because if you look at, you know, a town of 2,000 people, I don't know if it's a sheriff. It may very well be a sheriff. I don't know what their local police department is. But a lot of times when somebody calls in and talks to the cops, they don't fill out an official sort of report. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll fill out a report for a murder, or they'll fill out a report for, you know, a serious property crime. But a lot of shit that goes on in those small town police things is just a local calling up and talking to a sheriff or a deputy or whatever, you know what I mean? So I don't know what the follow-up is going to be, right? So, I mean, it's complicated, but here it says, so the Justice Department said some of these documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims made against Trump that were submitted by the FBI right before the election. To be clear, these claims are unfounded and false. If they had a shred of credibility, they certainly would have been weaponized against Trump already. Now, guys, dude, we have to talk about this concept here, okay? Where it says, if this is the basis of their argument, I have the limo driver video, Bradshaw. I have that. Somebody already sent me that, and we're going to go look at that in a minute. But we do need to discuss this thing right here, okay? Because this is the entire basis, guys, of their argument, is this claim that if this was true, it would have already been weaponized. But like, well, okay, if it was true about Bill Clinton, it would have already been weaponized. And like, maybe it wouldn't. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it just got buried, okay? Because at the end of the day, nobody knew about this. This stuff leaked in. Guys, when this report was taken, okay, you ready? This report was in October of 2020. Who was president in October of 2020? Whose Justice Department was running the show then? Okay? This shit got logged and this shit got buried. No, October of 2020 was Trump. Okay? Trump when these reports were coming in. It was a Trump DOJ, okay? Yeah, Biden didn't come in until 2021, okay? Epstein died while Trump was president, okay? All of this shit, all of this stuff found the light when Trump was president, guys. All of it. The fall off, the fallout from Virginia 𝗙𝗎𝗪, right? The fallout from Virginia 𝗙𝗎𝗪's fucking her lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell, all of this information, all of the information from Julie K. Brown, it all came out when Trump was in the DOJ. And in fact, he got rid of James Comey, guys. He installed his own guy, okay? It all came out when Trump was in there. And then Joe Biden appointed people, right? Merrick Garland and shit, but like Merrick Garland dragged his heels. And they did prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell, but after they prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell, everything in the files went just in the bin, okay? Once Ghislaine was prosecuted, there was no way that you could then unearth this shit. It was closed down. It was all sealed until her appeal. We wouldn't even be looking at it now if it wasn't for that unsigned memo from the DOJ from Pam Bondi. Which, you ready for this, guys? You remember the unsigned memo that went out from the DOJ with Pam Bondi? And they asked Pam Bondi, why did you not sign that memo? What's going on? And Pam Bondi sort of refused to answer the questions. You know what I'm wondering now? I'm wondering if somebody fucking that was not even the Trump people did that memo. Is there already a whistleblower? Was that unsigned memo not done by Pam Bondi? Was that done by some mystery person that wanted to close this so we would have access to release them? Did somebody like sabotage their cover up? Because if they had not put out that unsigned memo that said we're closing this case, all of this shit would still be sealed. The only reason this shit is coming out is because that unsigned memo came out that said we're closing this case. And so that got me thinking, like this week, I've been wondering, like, you know, nobody would answer about that memo. I wonder if that memo was just a whistleblower that put that out. And they were like, oh, fuck. Right? Like, you know what I mean? They can't answer. They won't answer because they don't have an answer. They didn't put out the memo. And now they're just having to put out all the fires. And like wondering, right? Maybe Dan Bongino put out that memo, bro. Wouldn't that be crazy? Right? I don't think so. I'm not crediting him anything, but like something is going on, though. Okay? Something is fucking going on, boss. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is something that is just rotten about this shit, you know? But this idea that if this was credible, it would have been weaponized already is not true, guys. Okay? It's not true because let me tell you, okay, I had an experience in LA working for a deli. Jerry's Deli was this very popular deli. It was this crazy, like sexual harassing factory, really. And everybody knew the information about the managers who sexually harassed and who was harming who. And nobody said anything, guys. Okay? All of the stories, believe survivors, yes, Skaya. All of the information was true. We all had the goods and nobody leaked it. It didn't come out. That didn't mean this shit wasn't credible. I worked at that job for years and it didn't come out. And it didn't come out until I got fired and one of the managers sold me out specifically along with a number of my friends. And I got really mad that he did that. And then I leaked his shit. And then everything came out after I left that job and moved to Oregon. And then that manager, the sexual harasser, got fired. But like, everybody knew the whole time. People had that information. Everybody had it. But nobody, right? It's like, and yes, it would be the same thing, Sam. It's like the fact is like this shit doesn't get weaponized until it can. Okay? Right? And it's not even, I know the weaponizing is a shitty word, but I'll use their language. It's like shit can't get weaponized until there's enough oomph for it to become a weapon, right? It does. It festers. It just sits there and it sort of like intensifies until there's an opening. The same way that like Harvey Weinstein, right? Oh, you could go back and say, man, if any of that shit about Harvey Weinstein had been true, it would have come out 20 years ago, guys. Bullshit. Okay? It fucking comes out, right? It comes out. Yeah, no, I know, 𝗙cie. I know you're sick of them using it because it is very specific language that they're trying to make it seem like this shit is not credible and this shit is being used just to target, right, Trump because he's so, like, they're so afraid of him. He's so dangerous to the deep state. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, I'm Trumpy. Oh, please change my diaper. Dude. Fucking bullshit artists, okay? Right? All right, anyway, so the FBI got that call on October 27, 2020. The presidential election that year was November 3rd. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting, guys, is with this right here, like, this is ridiculous, okay? The Justice Department is saying these sensational claims were made right before the 2020 election. But, guys, this was 1 week. What the fuck is going to happen calling the FBI with a story about Donald Trump a week before an election? Nothing, okay? If somebody was calling in to start a major thing about Donald Trump with the FBI, they wouldn't do it 1 week before an election. Nothing's changing the outcome of an election in 1 week from an FBI report, right? Come on, man, okay? So the caller said he took Trump to the airport, working as a limo driver, right? He overheard Trump talking about it, wanted to beat his ass. Then he spoke to a woman in 99 in the days before Christmas about Trump, and she went crazy and was like, oh my God, I can't, they'll kill me. She relayed the story, okay? Then she said she called the cops, and 2 weeks later, she was dead, okay? Now, here's what we got, okay? The Justice Department blacked out the names of the caller, his girlfriend, and the woman who died. Okay, a 19-year-old student from Kiefer died on January 10th, according to death notices in 2 newspapers. Now, guys, think about this. Okay, think about this. This person who called in 2020, either they made up a story specifically grabbing some woman from 20 years earlier, or this is real. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty weird to think that somebody calls up in 2020 and they have this whole story concocted about Trump and a rape and everything, and they have one girl who died by suicide in Kiefer, Oklahoma, a town of 2,000 people. They have this whole thing arranged. I mean, that's pretty wild, right? That would definitely be like, you know, a very elaborate sort of thing when you could also probably look for other threads to see if this is true. But like, I don't know. I mean, it feels kind of real. Okay. But so anyway, the woman who died was this 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀. Okay. It was ruled a suicide with a gunshot to the head. Okay. Her body was found at an address in 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀, which is near Kiefer. Okay, and the caller also said they claimed to know the identity of John Doe number 2, okay, which is something related to the Oklahoma fucking attack. All right, John Doe number 1 was quickly identified as 𝗙𝗵𝗎. The FBI concluded John Doe number 2 never existed. So, oh, I see what's going on. So the thing is like the caller's also saying they knew the second person involved in the Oklahoma City bomber, which is then making it seem like they're trying to impeach this person's story. Like, how do they also have this information about Trump, but then they're also claiming that this second Oklahoma City bomber was somebody attached to Bill and Hillary Clinton, right? So now I can see why they're using that info to maybe impeach the person. But so 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀 is the person that is supposedly this person, okay? And she was a student, but now they're going to maybe try to look up and follow her out. I mean, now that we know who she was, but it looks like here too, that public records, if she was like 20 when she died, right? She was somewhere born around 80 or 81. So she was 12 or 13 in 93, 94. This is right around the time that all this shit was going on. You know? Yes. They're implying that person is like some type of like clout chaser, like that guy who was at the Charlie Kirk shooting. Remember the dude who had also been at the World Trade Center, right? What's his name? George, whatever. Remember the old man? The old man with the fucking pants around his leg. What was that motherfucker's name from the Charlie Kirk shooting? Somebody who goes around and inserts themselves. I mean, there are those people, okay, that go and insert themselves into those famous cases, those clout chasers, right? George Zinn, yes, thank you. All right, so let's look at the limo driver's video. All right, because Allie did send it to me on Twitter, so we're gonna pull this out. Right. Oh, Bradshaw did send it to me too. Dude, do you have that link fucking handy? Yeah, I mean, there's a number of reasons for grabbing the poor girls, right? Okay, so I mean, obviously, if you have a lot of money, it says it doesn't exist. Yeah, he deleted it. That's a deleted tweet, boss. All right, well, we'll go look at this one. So, I mean, if you have a lot of money, it's going to be poor girls that are the ones to control, right? You can offer them money and fucking buy them off. There. All right. Oh, yeah, this is it. Now, this is supposedly the guy, all right? So, yeah, all right, we'll watch this, homie. Here we go. Yeah, they're definitely like, I mean, if you're using money to control people, you need to have somebody who doesn't have any money, right? That needs to be part of it. All right, so here we go.
This is to Donald John Trump, who was the 45th president of the United States of America. Donald, I know for a fact that you know exactly who I am. Don't even try to play like you don't. You stalked me in May, I'm almost certain it was May of 1995, and you know you did. You called around the different services that were in the Dallas area and tell you that you found the one that I was a chauffeur for. Then you requested me specifically to come pick you up so that you could intimidate me. You even threatened me with your ignorant gold-plated semi-automatic whatever it was. You did all that because you had raped a little girl around Christmas time of '94, 5 months earlier, who was 14 years old.
Now, obviously, if it's this 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀, like she was 14 at that time, like, you know, I mean, it could be. Obviously, if this guy's faking it, it would be all dialed together. He's going to make sure it fucking holds together. But here we go.
Now, when that little girl was 7 years old, her and her two sisters became my daughters by choice. I loved all three of those girls more than life itself. And you stalked me in Dallas, I guess because either she or her mother had threatened you with me. I haven't been able to get a straight story out of anybody about it. And you bragged while you were on your cell phone to somebody named Jeffrey, about having raped my daughter by choice. When I pulled that car over on the side of Highway 114, I had unlocked my briefcase and opened the top of it, where my pistol laid. It was loaded with some rounds that would have taken your head completely off of your body. And I came within 2 seconds of grabbing that gun and ending you right there. The only reason that didn't happen was because the spirit of our creators came over me. Said, you can't put your wife through this.
This guy's very serious.
So I dropped that car back in drive. Took you on to the airport. Now, Donald, you better listen real close to this, boy. I forgive you. Doesn't mean I'm not mad at you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be held accountable for that, and then for having my daughter by choice from the time she was 7 years old, having her murdered on January 10th of 2000, 2 weeks after she called the police about you, finally worked up the courage to call the police about you. On Christmas Day, she called the Tulsa Police Department and reported you having raped her. You know everything I just said is absolutely true, Donald. You know it because you did it.
No, he is saying he's the limo driver, right? That's what he is saying. This is the guy who was the limo driver.
I know you did it. The girl's mother knows you did it. You've bought her 5 houses so far that I know of as hush payments. You started paying hush payments to her.
See, that should be verifiable right there. He's saying, so yeah, this is pretty convoluted. Now, guys, listen to me. I want to tell you a little story because so his daughter is the girl 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀 who got blown away. So I think the story here is he was with a woman and they had a like he adopted a kid or something with this woman, right? Maybe it was the woman's daughter and he adopted her when they were together and then they broke up and then he had an interaction with Donald Trump and then years later he was talking to his daughter, his adopted daughter. He was seeing her again and found out that she had gotten involved with Trump and it set off this thing and he said, you need to go to the cops. She went to the cops. She ended up dead. But now he's saying that Trump bought her mother, his ex-wife, like houses and shit, which they should be looking into this now. Like, we got to look into that information. But what I wanted to say is when you hear this, you think there's no way this is true. But can I tell you a quick story, a quick sidebar of these bizarre things? Okay, so Ted Bundy, you ready? Listen to me. Ted Bundy worked at a suicide hotline, okay? He did. He had a job working as a suicide hotline during the time he was killing women, okay? Around that time, a woman worked at that suicide hotline with him. Her name was Ann Rule, okay? She was a single mom struggling to take care of her kids. She knew Ted Bundy. They used to go out and have coffee and shit. They were work friends. Then she left that job and she ended up becoming a true crime writer. And she started writing about the murders of those young girls in Washington. And she ended up discovering that Ted Bundy was the killer. And she had been talking to him as she was writing the book because he was an old friend. So that's how weird life works sometimes. So Ann Rule was writing a book about fucking these murders, helping the cops try and figure shit out. And it turned out she had worked at the suicide hotline with Ted Bundy and she was talking to him the whole time until she figured out it was him. And he actually got caught in Utah and she was like, what the fuck? So yes, these coincidences, they happen. Which is why I don't necessarily dismiss this guy automatically because this kind of shit happens. I mean, that is about as unlikely as a fucking reality. That's why, I mean, this could very well be. All right, let's see the rest of this.
The only way I forgive you is because I understand what influence does to people while we're in these human bodies we occupy. But other than that, you need to stay away from me, Donald. You and your little henchmen, like the ones that have been following me around for the last 3 or 4 days. And well, I know what kind of vehicle they're in. You need to stop it. Because as you already know, I don't get intimidated. The amount of hell I went through growing up, you ain't nothing. You really aren't. You ain't nothing, boy.
Dude.
The one you need to make peace with, if it's possible, which I don't know if it is or not. It's above my pay grade. Are our creators. You know who I'm talking about. I know you do. Because I know who you really are. That's all I got to say to you, punk.
All right. So, I mean, obviously there's two things I take from that video, guys. And this is where we stand is A, we got to figure out who this guy is. But I think looking up the girl's mother, now that we know about 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀 and the girl who died, he made an implication that Trump had been paying off her mother, buying her houses and shit, right? That was his little claim in there, or buying some woman houses. So that definitely needs to get looked into, right? I mean, this is pretty pretty fucking crazy. So let's look at this video. Hold on. This video is unlisted. Okay, it is an unlisted video from some guy named 𝗙𝗏𝗡. Probably not the guy. Are there any comments? Comments are turned off. So again, though, real hoax. I mean, we can look up the name. Is there a 𝗙𝗏𝗡 in this comment section? Yeah, so there's a 𝗙𝗏𝗡 involved in this comment. It's being so there is something here, some crazy post from a couple days ago. Dude, it's out there on Facebook, bro. There are comments on the Twitter link you said? So the thing is, though, is look at this, guys. So one of the things, like this Mike Benz guy is trying to debunk this, but this Mike Benz guy is not trustworthy, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like this Mike Benz guy is, if this Mike Benz guy is saying, you know, it's like bad, then it may be good. If Mike Benz says it's a lie, it could very well be the truth. All right? But yeah. So anyway, we're gonna have to look deeper into this. Okay, we're not gonna do it now because we're gonna move along. Obviously, this will start the story, and we'll put it out. We'll put it out there. We'll put this energy into the universe and see what happens. All right, but there's a lot to look into. Okay, because here people found that 𝗙𝗏𝗡. There's this name 𝗙𝗏𝗡 that's getting involved, and there's gonna have to have a little bit of, dude. Yeah, Benz is a like an Elon suck up or whatever. Okay, I mean, you know, I think we need to find this guy. Okay, right? We need to find this guy. Okay, is what we need to do. Because again, they're like, of course, I'm suspicious. I am. I'm absolutely suspicious because, you know, crackpots that are trying to like get into become the main character or get into shit. Like a lot of wackos go around doing some shit. They do. But I also know that Epstein and Trump were abusing girls in the 90s. I know they were. And I know they were abusing like bottom of the barrel girls, okay? And you know, poor girls, sexually abused girls, like drug users that they were picking up in various locations, all right? And you know what I'm saying? And so, like, you know, I mean, they were often going around to conventions and whatever, modeling shows. They were during this time, like when was the look of the year? Okay, like remember the look of the year modeling thing? Let me just show you. You ready? Look at this. Okay, I'm gonna draw a connection for you guys. Okay. Watch. Here. We're gonna fucking. We have look of the year was what look of the year was, guys. Okay, was look of the year. Hold on. Was a thing where they went looking for models. It was this thing. Okay, look of the year was where they were trying to find models from middle America. Okay, look of the year was something that Trump models and elite models, which was run by John Casablancas. Okay, they had this thing. And if you look at it, it was from 1983 to 1995, okay? And it was a contest that they had every year, okay, trying to find young models from just regular people, okay? So like some corn-pone girl from Nebraska could go out and compete in elite models look of the year, okay? And this is video where you have these young girls all competing for this. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because the idea that Donald Trump could be in Oklahoma with Jeffrey Epstein. Of course they could. Of course they could have gone and traveled. I mean, Epstein had a ranch in New Mexico, but it is very possible that these guys went and were, you know, informally looking for girls, or if they had people in Tulsa or, you know, Omaha, Nebraska, that were having little like look of the year, like people that were going out looking for young girls in clothing stores, in arcades, at right? I mean, they could have had people all over the country scouting young girls. I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, modeling agencies literally had people that used to go around giving out business cards. And in fact, in the 90s in LA, I hate to say that, like, I know about this, but in the 90s in LA, that was a common way for like creeper guys. Okay. It's like, I didn't do this, but there were creeper guys. They were usually guys that fucking smelled like 𝗙𝗪. Okay. They fucking lather up with 𝗙𝗪 and they were dressed really fucking nice, really nice clothes, perfectly sculpted hair. And they would have business cards that said they were modeling fucking scouts. And they would give these cards to girls and that's how they got laid. Okay. Like promising them that like, ooh, yeah, but they were not models or not modeling scouts. They were just dudes that looked really like metrosexual fucking pimped out dudes, right? And they were fucking smarmy as hell, man. And they, like, guys used to do that to women all the fucking time, guys. Okay? It was like a super, like, late 80s, early 90s. It was a huge sort of trope, right? None of the rockers were doing it. You know what I'm saying? I was in the rock scene, but you would go to, like, a dance club, and there were plenty of those guys. They always had really, like, fancy watches and, like, gold bracelets and shit, so they looked like maybe it was true. And they had business cards that were fake that said that they worked for such and such an agency or they were acting agents. And they were all just on the prowl. Okay. But so I don't know, dude. So these guys certainly had people like boots on the ground, like looking for young girls. You know what I mean? And then they all come in and they fucking, you know, they're judging shit. This was 91. This is the one at the Plaza. Okay. At the Plaza Hotel, where they were judging them, but they had these all the time. So it is entirely plausible that Donald Trump would have people out looking in these small towns in middle America, like finding young girls. Okay. It's totally believable, but we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. All right. crazy, isn't it? Isn't that shit nuts? Bro, that shit is nuts. Was it a trafficking front for Trump? It probably was. I mean, I don't know what it was. I think for the people in LA that were doing it, it's probably just, right? For the people in LA that were doing it is probably just guys trying to get laid, right? I don't know. I didn't know any human traffickers, but I did run across a lot of smarmy dudes that were trying to get laid that had hustles. Because in LA, it was kind of hard. Like, dating was hard in LA if you didn't have something going on. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of, you got to have something going on. But let's look at Trump's posts, though, okay? Because I think Trump's Truth Social posts are very revealing. Because simultaneously, simultaneously, guys, while we have this shit going on where these stories that are supposedly not credible are coming out and all these files are coming out, fucking Trump is on a bender. Laura, dance party, here we come. Yes, we're having dance party right after this, guys. This is going to be the last thing we're covering here. We're going to cover Trump's tweets and then we're hitting the dance party. But, dude, Trumpy's having a meltdown, guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? He is having a full melter. Dude, what the fuck is going on, bro? Okay. So, all right. So we saw this. Can I take a sidebar here? Have you guys seen this video of this woman? Right? They're doing this Tim Walz attack right now. Okay? You guys may have noticed there's a centering around Tim Walz and the Somali people that were looting Medicare. They're trying to pin this shit to Tim Walz. Okay? And did you see this video? We'll cover this at some point. We're not going to cover it today. But this woman is sitting here talking about these houses that those Somalis that were looting Medicare or Medicaid had bought all these houses. But she makes a statement in here about how these houses have had all of these BMWs and fancy cars parked at them, right? But what's really interesting is what I'm wondering is why isn't she filming a house that has BMWs in the driveway, right? Like, right? You know what I mean? She's telling us a story about the house and having all these BMWs and it being part of this huge money laundering thing. But like, where are the BMWs? Okay. And I did ask that in a comment and people got so offended. They were like, how dare you? But it's like, dude, I mean, I'm not going to believe that a bunch of BMWs have been parked at every one of these piss poor houses. Unless you show me, you got to have some fucking evidence, right? I could tell you a spaceship was parked in my fucking backyard, Like, come on, man. All right. So, but look at this shit, though. He is all in on the Tim Walz shit. And all in on like Act Blue, Somalia. They're trying to tie this to Tim Walz. Okay, then they do a little economy. So where do we get into today? All right, let's get into today's shit. Okay, so now he's posting about...
We saw numerous examples of numbers moving, numbers being flipped and switched. As you realize, the Antrim County is...
Oh, this is about Georgia. They're trying to do the voter shit. Okay, so he's posting about voter shit. Now he's posting about Newsom. Multiple posts about Newsom, right? They're trying to like sabotage Gavin because Gavin's the big threat. Okay, now he's like talking about the GDP, even though prices are way up. Okay, now he's talking about crime. Miller, America for America again. What do we got here?
She ended up giving us 4 of these notes. They read, received November 4th.
All right, more election shit. He's trying to establish an election cheating. I mean, guys, well, so Brownbird, it is partially about him being butthurt about Georgia, but part of this is beyond being butthurt, okay? Good night. Because he is butthurt about Georgia, but part of this, guys, is they're trying to establish enough to do something like overbearing, okay? If they can flood the zone with the implication that there was fraud, aha, I was right, look, we discovered it, then they're like, well, we're going to send in the fucking ICE to guard all the voting, like, polling locations, right? That's what they're trying to do. Best show you discovered in 2025. Let's go, James. Let's go, baby. See, that's what they're trying to do. They're the same shit they were trying to do to get the National Guard in Portland, right? Or in Chicago. They are trying to build a narrative that is in the public eye that says we discovered cheating, and then that way they can do something extreme and the public will look the other way. It's entirely based around that. And they lost all this in court because there wasn't any impropriety to be like proven. But I think they're trying to build enough of I think what Trump has realized is if they get enough of a narrative out there, they can break the law. And then it's upon the Democrats or other people to then try to hold them accountable to the law. But like that happens after the action, which means, right? Which means if they send in ICE to polling locations, by the time the Democrats fight this, the election is already over. And right? And so then you're fighting something that already happened. So they have discovered that they can get away with breaking the law first, but they do need to have enough public opinion or enough of a narrative built to excuse the behavior. Let's go, Tommy. Big love from the UK. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you, Matan. So yeah, it is. They also are trying to convince the Republicans to end the filibuster. And so they can pass some extreme voter, suppression laws. Okay, that's another thing they want. They're trying to convince, create enough of a narrative that the legislators can do some outrageous shit, and the voters will let it go. Okay, but again, a lot of this is election shit. Okay. And they're, they're saying some people in the Trump admin are doing this. Andy Biggs, they want to clear out anybody who's not a Trump loyalist. Okay. Now they're trying to attack Gavin Newsom. I mean, they're attacking Gavin Newsom and Tim Walz. Obviously, they're attacking they're going after specific targeted people. Okay. Tim Walz has a very high profile. If they can attack Tim Walz, they can attack Kamala Harris, who is thinking about running for president again. They want to attack Gavin Newsom. Yes, you absolutely see who their threats are. And their threats are it's Matt and Kat. Okay, thank you. Dude, Matt and Kat, let's go. Got you, appreciate that. All right, thank you, Matt. Oh, shit, I thought it was Matt and Kat, right? Matt and Kat. Let's go. Well, yeah. So, I mean, the corporate media makes money off this shit. Dude, love from Brazil. Great investigative work. Let's go. Luigi, appreciate you, boss. Dude, we're in it. We're going to fucking get in here and try to figure this shit out. Okay, so now the other thing Trump does is he's got tons of posts about this shit, but now he is launching a strike in Nigeria. But guys, we gotta analyze this because you have to look at the wording to see what's taking place here. Okay? Because look at this post about ISIS and Nigeria, and tell me if you notice that, like, I looked at this and one thing just jumped right out at me. Dude, I love Brazil. Love Brazil. Something jumped out. I'm going to read the first sentence and tell me if you notice it, okay? Tonight, at my direction, as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I know, it doesn't matter who wrote it. Just look at the wordplay. What did you notice? What jumps out at you? There's one word there that should jump out at you, guys. Okay? And it's right here. Scum. Okay? And why did they use the word scum? Okay? Why? Because Gavin Newsom is a threat. Okay? Yes. He uses new scum, right? And now they're implying Medicaid fraud. They're tying that to Gavin Newsom. But now he's talking about defending Christians against the ISIS terrorists, and he's using the same word scum to attach to the ISIS terrorists. So now, if you take in the ISIS terrorist shit, every time you hear the word new scum, pretty soon, if you're a MAGA person or if you're whatever, it's like making these webbed connections of words, and they do this through repetition. These are like brainwashing tactics. It is like very careful choices of words. The same way that every time they talk about a woman or a black person, they use low IQ. They use the trope, but they use it regularly to the point of where eventually their people just literally attach the concept of women and black people as being low IQ. And it is, yes, it is stochastic terrorism. These are verbal techniques, guys. They do this kind of shit when they're breaking soldiers down in basic training. Okay? It is like the Heritage Foundation is very careful with these kinds of wordings. It is very much programming. It's what they did with the word groomer. Okay? Why do MAGA people think LGBTQ people, gay and trans people, are sex predators? Not because they are, not because there's any fucking actual evidence of this. It's because for years they referred to them as groomers. Okay? Every time they talked about a gay person, they used the phrase groomer. And then in their followers then associated LGBTQ people with grooming, and they simply started believing that they're grooming kids. But it's like, it is just because of wordplay, like repetition, every right-wing influencer using that fucking terminology, right? And this stuff, guys, it's I only say this is because it's the basis of advertising. Okay. My first job was at UCLA in the marketing department, and these types of wordplay, the way they do this shit, this is the fundamental building block of advertising. Screenwriters do this shit. This is it's like how you dumb things down in order to ingrain them in your mind. It's why advertising slogans and jingles get stuck in your head. You know what I'm saying? Social engineering, exactly. Right? Dude, parents do this shit too with phrases, right? I did it as a parent. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. My kid, eventually he was saying that phrase, right? Because I said it so many times. It is like a technique. And so when I looked at this, the first thing I thought of is holy fucking shit, bro. They're obviously, They're trying to get the Christian buy-in. I am protecting Christians. I'm one of the good guys. Nobody helped the Christians except Trump. He has a very Christian base. He has a very religious, like 4chan, like, you know, Jesus program base that he's trying to keep hold of. Dude, Paloma, let's go. Thumbs up. Oh, right. But man, I mean, he's active here. And right as these files are coming out, now this is the one, guys. This is the one that like is like the floodgates. Like, guys, it's fucking Christmas, bro. It is Christmas. Yeah, whoever wrote that, I don't think it matters who wrote it, right? It doesn't matter who wrote it. It's just everything that's coming from the Trump organization and in his speeches. I mean, he has the phrases, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like jails, prisons, you know, mental institutions and asylums, right? You know, transgender for everyone, men and women's sport, right? I mean, they have the fucking things, the deep state, drain the swamp, right? They've been using this shit, you know, even make America great again. Everything to them is witch hunt, hoax, right? Russia. I mean, it's all about their branding. And Trump has been doing this shit for a while. Like he was a reality TV guy. The original 144 character Twitter. He was very good at it, right? Drill, baby, drill. Exactly. You know the phrases, like they're all like things. But now, guys, Trump is posting this on Christmas. Okay. This is a holiday, right? This is a holiday about like joy and bringing people together. Supposedly it's supposed to be a you know, Jesus and all that. But let's look at his Christmas post. Okay. Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazebags who loved Jeffrey Epstein, gave him bundles of money, went to his island, attended his parties, and thought he was the greatest guy on earth, only to drop him like a dog when things got too hot, falsely claimed they had nothing to do with him, didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and then blame, of course, President Donald J. Trump, who is actually the only one who did drop Epstein, and long before it became fashionable to do so. Which he didn't drop Epstein until well after he got arrested. Okay. And in fact, dude, Trump talked about how great he was. He's literally describing himself. All of this here is Trump. Okay. When their names get brought out in the ongoing radical left witch hunt, plus one lowlife Republican, 𝗙ecie, and it is revealed that they are Democrats all, there will be a lot of explaining to do. Much like there was when it was made public that the Russia hoax was a fictitious story, a total scam, and had nothing to do with Trump, right? The failing New York Times, among many others, was forced to apologize for their bad and faulty election reporting, even to the point of losing many subscribers due to their highly inaccurate fake coverage. Now the same losers are at it again, only this time so many of their friends, mostly innocent, will be badly hurt and reputationally tarnished, but sadly, that's the way it is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas, President Donald J. Trump. Dude, guys, he is shook. Dude, first off, let me just say how they keep saying, oh, it was all Democrats. Guys, Trump is a Democrat, okay? I hate to, he's not one of us. We have disavowed him, but that's why he went to the Republicans. He's a fucking Democrat. Trump is pro-abortion. He's paid for plenty of them. Trump is pro-trans people. He fought for them to be able, for trans women to be in his pageants, okay? He is not a Republican. He's pro-vax. He got the vax. He went to Wharton. He fucking tried to get into every Democrat and liberal left-wing Hollywood, all of it. He has been desperate to be in those worlds. He doesn't give a shit about the Bible. He doesn't fucking believe in God at all. He never had. He fucking hated the fucking Bible and Christianity. Are you kidding me? He pisses on the fucking Bible and anything related to religion. Trump does. He has no regard for that shit. He is a greedy fucking old school New York liberal. Okay? I mean, he's racist as fuck, right? And he's misogynist as all get out, but he's never been a conservative at all. Ever. Not even close to it, man. You know what I'm saying? Dude, he's like the old liberal, right? The old racist liberal, okay? Dude, yeah, he just knows Christianity is money, okay? Right? Dude, you know what I'm saying? So he's having a meltdown. Now, here we go. You ready? Now, look, he's got another one, though, that he pinned, guys. Look at this shit. If he pinned this shit, this was from yesterday. This was from Christmas Eve, okay? Which was Merry Christmas to all, including the radical left scum, which again is tying the same word he uses for ISIS is the word he uses for the left, is the same thing he uses for the person he's most threatened by, which is Gavin Newsom. Merry Christmas to all, including the radical left scum that are doing, but whatever, the radical left scum that is doing everything possible to destroy our country, but are failing badly. No longer have open borders, men and women sports, transgender for everyone, weak law enforcement. What we do have is record stock market, 401ks. Dude, 401ks, what is he talking about? Lowest crime numbers in decades. Doesn't compare. No inflation, and yesterday a 4.3 GDP. All right, GDP is up, and so are prices. GDP doesn't matter if I'm still paying $27 for a fucking steak there, buddy. All right, tariffs have given us trillions in growth on the taxpayer. And yeah, the books are likely cooked, okay, because they stop releasing numbers. Okay, strongest national security, blah, blah, blah. We are respected again by whom, right? Perhaps like never before. God bless America, right? And if you look at this shit, though, dude, I mean, look at the last 2 days, guys. He is just having a bender, okay? He is going off on Georgia. He's going off on Tim Walz. It is like election, Tim Walz, Gavin Newsom, right? Election, Tim Walz, Gavin Newsom. Election, like, look at her, bro. Doesn't she look like she saw a ghost? Dude, it is crazy. If you look at the last 2 days, this is still Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Look at this. All of this is still 2 days, guys. Look at this shit. Look at this. Like Christmas Eve, I think he did several hundred tweets on Christmas Eve. Oh my God, dude. Right? Wow. This is still Christmas Eve, guys. Like Christmas Day wasn't that big, but look at his Christmas Eve. This is still Christmas Eve, guys. What in the actual fuck, man? He is coming unglued, bro. We are still on Christmas Eve. I'm waiting for the 2D, the 2 days. What in the actual fuck, guys? Dude! Bro! It's like, I mean, I had heard that he went on a flip, but like, dude, like, really? Like, I don't think I could tweet. I tweet a lot, guys. I'm serious. I will sit down and I will fire off like 20 replies I'll sit there and my thumbs just go fucking fast action. I tweet a lot, but like this is insane, bro, because he's reading this shit. A lot of this is retweeted shit. So he's like reading. He is like scrolling through a timeline and just obsessively sharing things and fucking, you know what I mean? And obviously he has some other people tweeting from his account, but we are still on Christmas Eve. Still Christmas Eve. Bat shit. Absolute bat shit. Bro, I feel like I'm stuck in a time loop. Like, oh my God, we're finally at 2 days. Dude, oh my God, finally. Isn't that nuts? Dude, what the fuck, bro? All of that, all this, look at this. Look at this arrow, guys. Look at how small this arrow is. All of this is fucking 2 fucking days, bro. All of this tweeting right here. That all happened. 90% of that was on Christmas Eve. And then all the way up here, like up here we hit Christmas Day. But all of this, dude, from all the way down here, all of this, you see how tiny this fucking thing is? That was all Christmas Eve, bro. Like hundreds of fucking tweets, dude. Insane. Insane. That is like, talk about bombarding. Guys, he is shook. He is shook. It is like he saw the devil, man. You know what I'm saying? He's never with his family, right? You know what I'm saying? He is never with his family. His family never spends time with him. Melania doesn't sleep near this guy. She doesn't spend any time with him. Everybody fucking hates this guy. This guy has nobody. He has nobody but his millions of Twitter followers and a bunch of rednecks that walk out of his speeches. Right? He has nobody. His family's waiting for him to die like the rest of us. You know, they're literally waiting for him to die so they can get that money. That's it. Right? He has nobody that's not transactionally trying to like achieve something through him or vice versa. Right? Dude. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine the hemorrhoids? I imagine his asshole is just a hemorrhoid that has figured out how to excrete. Like, he doesn't have hemorrhoids. His sphincter has been replaced by a hemorrhoid. Dude, it's like a hemorrhoid ejection machine at this point. Dude, that is wild. Like absolute fucking meltdown. Right? Dude. I mean, he is a hemorrhoid, right? With a neck-gina, dude. That's what he is. He is a hemorrhoid in a fucking suit with a fucking neck-gina. And that's the entirety of Donald Trump, dude. That's it. That's all he is, boss. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. Dude. Oh, Lake Michigan is trending though, guys. This is about the, right? This is about the video I made, guys. If you guys haven't seen the video, just so you know, all right, let me take you to the channel here. If you haven't seen the video, you go and this is about Lake Michigan. All right, dude, we're out there. We're heavy Epstein. We're going to get into this shit. We are getting into this. We are going full force. Okay. There's also a video here about Melania and about the guy who made her documentary. Because guys, think about this. Okay. Just bear with me here. Trump's cabinet member, the first time around, was the guy who gave Epstein immunity. Okay. Melania has a documentary made. Okay, her documentary is made by this guy in the white shirt, Brett Ratner. He is in the Epstein files. This picture of Brett Ratner is Ratner with Jean-Luc Brunel, Epstein's modeling agency buddy. So Melania Trump literally just had her movie made by a sex abuser who is in the Epstein files, was on the island. Okay, Brett Ratner. Okay. We have Trump's yacht and this young girl and supposedly throwing the infant overboard. Okay, that is coming out. Okay, we have fucking like all of these stories are coming out, right? About Epstein, and slowly but surely this shit is bubbling up. I mean, there's a lot of good videos coming out about this, guys. The shit is getting nutty. Okay, and yes, Brunel died just like Jeffrey Epstein did. Because, again, Epstein had a whole other thing going on in Paris, guys. Okay, he had a Paris, it was Palm Beach, Paris, New York. Okay, the 3 fashion epicenters. He had a lavish place in Paris. Everything from there just disappeared. Okay, Jean-Luc Brunel was his modeling agency partner in MC2. He was a bigwig doing all this human trafficking in Europe, in France. Jean-Luc Brunel was arrested in 2022 and in prison, and he unalived himself as well. Okay, the same way by hanging, right, while in jail. So all of this shit is like wildly connected. You know, dude, it's like everything they do is connected to the Epstein files in some way. And then they're like, Bill Clinton, right? But we're gonna keep hunting, right? We are gonna get to the bottom of it, right? I'm in, dude. I'm telling you, I'm in. I'm not letting go of this shit, boss, right? Ivanka is still alive, but Ivana did mysteriously fall down some stairs. Dude, a lot of people are disappearing. But yeah, dude, this is a good video, actually, this video. And I'm going to make a video right now about what we talked about with this guy, with this limo driver guy. Ivana may have been murdered. Yes, absolutely. Like, something's up, you know? Something is definitely up. These guys, though, man, this is a crazy video, too, where we go through the thing. And so simultaneously, we have like 2 things happening where we have Trump being the front man for a Christian fascist, you know, Heritage Foundation, TPUSA takeover. Let's indoctrinate all the kids with Jesus so they become conspiracy eaters that will then eat up their social engineered programming of, like, you know, you got to follow the monarchs, right? Because that's how you get to heaven. And they're like, yes, master, right? That's what they're trying to do socially, to turn everyone into a red-pilled Jesus freak. And so they can have some sort of biblical fascism here. Meanwhile, right under the biblical fascism is just sexual deviancy and human trafficking and child molestation. It's like literally they are like one and the same, bro. Like Christian theocracy and child molestation are like the same thing. If you do a Venn diagram of Christianity and child molestation, it's a circle, guys. Okay? Let me just tell you. The Majestic Star 2 was in Indiana. Is that what that tweet is? Let's look at that tweet. Hold on. We're going to look at the tweet real quick here. All right.
The boat that Trump docked in Lake Michigan wasn't just a boat or a small yacht. It was a river boat that he converted into a casino. Because folks continue to say that Trump couldn't have had a casino floating in Lake Michigan because it wasn't legal to do that. Here's the boat, and here's reporting from 2016 in a legit periodical. The name of the boat originally was the Trump Princess. Bill Clinton is the one who signed an exemption to the Johnson Act that allowed riverboats to leave the dock so that Trump casino could leave the dock. So yes, there was a boat on Lake Michigan. He had this boat the entire time he was palling around with Jeffrey Epstein. And thanks to an order from President Clinton, the riverboat was allowed to leave the dock and go out into the water a little bit further than it was supposed to.
Crazy. See, you know what's wild about it though, guys? Is it reminds me of like, dude, Paloma, let's go, right? It reminds me, guys, of how like by having a boat on the water, you're like outside of like legal range. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think a lot of this shit, they get these yachts, you get out into international water and you're not breaking the law. You're outside of like, nobody has jurisdiction out there. There's no legal culpability, guys. Even on Lake Michigan, you get out in the middle of that lake and it becomes a gray area, especially with the fucking Canadian border and shit. I mean, it's so gnarly, man.
Which would, of course, give Donald Trump quite a bit of privacy, wouldn't you say? So I don't know. I don't know what he did on Lake Michigan. I don't know if he was throwing newborn babies that he allegedly fathered through rape off of this boat into Lake Michigan. Somebody says that he did that, but I do know he would have had the boat, the access, and the privacy to do it if he wanted to. So somebody should check that out.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like, the shit is nuts, bro. It is nuts. Like, what timeline are we living in, guys? You know what I'm saying? It is frightening how laws selectively applied depending on your wealth and connections. Yeah, Paloma. I mean, the law is, at least in America, our law was built for slavery. Okay? Our law was built on slavery. And it was built on being able to, when we ended slavery, guys, we didn't end it. We just moved it like to jails. Slavery was allowed, but only in prison. And then they created a 2-tier system. Felony charge puts you in prison in slavery. Misdemeanor charge, you get off and you pay a fine. And so they created a system that allowed white men who could pay the fine to get the misdemeanor and pay their way out of the offense. And so then pretty soon, a black guy goes before a judge, he's getting a felony. A white guy goes before the judge, he's getting the misdemeanor. And then if you're wealthy, you hire a lawyer who knows how to manipulate the law to then you don't get a charge at all. Like you get out of it, right? So the law was created to provide white people a way to stay out of slavery and to provide the wealthy people a way of staying out of getting charged at all. It's like the law was invented to have several different tiers. It was made that way. And, you know, because whether something's a felony or a misdemeanor is at the discretion of the prosecutor and the judge, who traditionally were always white guys. Okay, they were white men. If you look for hundreds of years, now there's different judges and shit, but that's what it was. It was the discretion of the judge and the prosecutor as to whether it was a felony charge or a misdemeanor charge. And that allowed them to selectively choose who goes into slavery, right? I mean, it's true. This is what they fucking did, man. It's literally, this is why our law is so fucked up right now. Our entire judicial system, like, we need a renovation, guys. We do. All right? But now we're going to dance. You guys got to dance, and now we're going to dance. I'm going to go make videos. It's fucking time, baby. And again, we're moving to 8 p.m., all right, 8 to 11 p.m. or longer if I go late, because there will be times when I go late. It happens. But we're moving on January 1st, guys. Who's ready for a dance? You ready? Gary, Indiana. Yeah, Gary, Indiana is a stone's throw from Chicago where Trump had a Trump Tower too, right? That's crazy. So he did have a boat. He did have a boat on Lake Michigan. And guys, there's a lot of people with yachts on Lake Michigan, okay? The 𝗣𝗎😅 family, remember the 𝗣𝗎😅 family? They're from Michigan. I guarantee you they have yachts on fucking Lake Michigan, okay? That's who, like, was the education secretary the first time around. You're from Gary, Indiana? Let's go. Dude, the one time, guys, that, just a quick little story. I fell asleep at the wheel once, guys, just outside Gary, Indiana. Okay. Can I just tell you, I had a show where I played in Eau Claire, Wisconsin one night. And in the very next night I played in Atlanta, Georgia. So I had to drive from Eau Claire, Wisconsin and get to Atlanta, Georgia by my next show. And so I played the show. I'd been up all day. Played the show in Eau Claire, drove out of Eau Claire, drove all the way down through Gary, Indiana. In the morning, I took like maybe a short nap, I think, or maybe no nap. I think I drove all night. I got a fucking, some McDonald's and I fell asleep while I was eating a fucking, a Egg McMuffin with fucking a sausage and Egg McMuffin or whatever. And on the highway driving south in Indiana, in Indiana, right? Like just past Gary. Okay. Now what saved me though is it was a huge grassy median. Like where it happened was like the grassy median was like 100 feet wide or something. It was like 2 lanes and a massive grassy median and then 2 lanes. And that's why I'm alive, guys, because my minivan went off the road into that grassy median and I woke up, but I was like basically in a little field in between the fucking, if it had been like a short median, I probably would have died or somebody would have been seriously hurt. It was pretty scary. I became very cognizant after that about sleeping and driving. You got to be careful. And a friend of mine died too that way. My friend Jonah died in a car wreck from like falling asleep at the wheel. It's dangerous. Dangerous shit, guys. All right? Ooh. All right, you ready? Oh. All right. Here we go, baby. You guys stretched? You ready for some dance? Ready to dance, baby? All right, all right. Dude, the rapture. Dude, there ain't gonna be no rapture. And my God, if there is a rapture, none of the American evangelical Christians are leaving the planet. Let me just tell you, if there is a rapture, they ain't going anywhere. But we are gonna dance. Little deja vu. Oh, oh, oh.
But I've known, been here before. Yeah, I do
this feeling that I have now, almost a bit holy, a notion that I will make it out somehow.
Oh, we dance, baby! Woo! All right, that gets the heart rate up. Stars in you. Don't you know there is nothing I won't do for you? All right. Once again, Merry Christmas, guys. Happy Soul Invictus. All right, we appreciate you guys. Fucking, we love to see it, baby. You gotta take care of yourselves. All right, be good. Where to now? Need something to watch? Go watch the videos. A lot of good videos going on. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? Remember, it's all about one thing, baby. We are fighting for our freedom. Good night.
Freedom. Obsessions, always jumping through. I'm so tangled, I'm so worthy. I'm just lost in my reflection. Pay attention.